What's up, guys? Welcome to the pre-show, everybody. This is gonna be a good one. We got Jason Schreier, baby.
Heck
What's
yeah.
up?
Hello. I should warn everybody
stuff.
that I have food poisoning. So, like, if I
don't know what that
means.
It means if he's like, get out of my way, you just
get out of his fucking way.
Just get out.
But yeah, it sucks to get food poisoning right before
I told him.
coming on. Kind of funny, but
Sure.
hey.
He's super Schreier because I don't know how you stand after getting food poisoning like at 3 or 4 a.m. Like,
That's why I don't
Pure
order fish.
adrenaline.
That's why I don't order fish.
Fish is so good, though.
No.
Yeah,
Should
True
not have
story.
gotten
Fish,
the
not good.
fish is so good.
Fish good. Seared or raw, fish is great.
Yeah.
You cook a fish. What's the point, man?
Yeah.
What was the point of this?
Teach a man to fish.
Yeah, I know.
This was like a whole roasted snapper, so it was good.
oh, it was fish.
Somehow
you
it fucked
think?
me up. Yeah.
Oh,
You want to
reminds
be
me
like
of,
him, Tim? There you go. You want to get sick
you know
all
what?
the
I
time?
do,
It's in you.
Greg. I
Fine,
do.
enjoy it.
But it's so
Good.
healthy. You can't like avoid fish.
Listen, you
for
can't
you.
avoid death either, so why try to extend it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The last
I ask
20,
myself that every
last
day.
20 years suck anyway. I don't care if the coronary gets me
That's
before
true.
then. I snuck all this wine into the GDC Awards last night.
Nice.
I saw
And then,
you did.
Yeah, and then I drank a lot at the GDC after party, and I woke up about 2 a.m. and I could feel my pulse. I was like, this is not
Wait,
right.
so what was the story there? They weren't serving alcohol.
So yeah, like
They have in the past, haven't they? The VIP
exactly.
table.
Well, this is the whole thing, right? Like Megan's gone, so everything's changed, and yada yada yada.
okay.
So what it was, I got an invitation ahead of time. Well, first off, got invited to the GDC Awards. Great. I had to sneak in under Nathan Vella one year, and it was great. And I never got invited ever again,
Really?
and I could never get in. So this time I actually got really invited, and yeah, they had a VIP thing, and they were like, so it starts at 6:30. At 5:30, it's the champagne hour, and it was like, all right, what does that
so
mean
early.
exactly, right? And so what it was is that we went for that first hour. They were serving champagne at the table area, and then once the hour was over and the show started, there was no booze. There was no bar to go to. There was no wine on the table like there traditionally is.
Well, so the one year I went to the awards 2 years ago, people, obviously there was wine everywhere at the VIP tables, and people were so loud behind me
Yeah.
that they were clearly just like screaming drunk.
Yeah.
So I can see why.
I can understand it too. GDC people are cutting loose. It's the awards are gonna get crazy.
Right.
But I wouldn't let this stop me. So what I did is that I walked out saying I was going to the bathroom, and then when I got to the front door and the people who were checking your tickets, I asked one of the women. I was just like, "Hey, if I brought back a bottle of wine as a joke for my table, would that be okay?" And she goes, "I don't see why not. No one's told me you can't bring alcohol." And I'm like, "Thank you." So I just left Moscone, went to the liquor store right across the street,
my God.
bought 6 bottles of wine and a corkscrew, came back in with this giant bag of booze.
I was gonna say you
And
just
then-
walked in with a bag of
walked
booze.
back to the table, and Jen's like, "You did it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we just started passing bottles open, and I'm doing this stuff. I texted Jeff Keeler. I'm like, "You want a bottle of wine?" He's like, "Yeah." Reach back, give him a bottle. Corey Barlog saw me doing. He's like this. I came over, poured him a glass. I was walking around.
Wow.
A random woman was like, "I see you guys have wine. Can we have some?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
The best way to be the most
Love it.
popular
Exactly
guy
right,
at the
yeah,
GDC
yeah.
awards. Very smart. Very
None
smart.
of the developers would do it, but you let one YouTube fucking influencer in there and see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Gotta love it.
Fucking
Sanctity.
influencers.
I know.
How were the awards?
They were great. Tim did a really good job hosting. They do the independent awards before, and then the game developer choice awards or whatever afterwards. Tim hosted the GDC awards. Indie awards were good as well. A bunch of games I had never heard of because there's so many like student games and this
Meg
stuff.
Cheyenne, I think it's how you
Right.
pronounce her
Yeah,
last
yeah.
name. She wrote 80 Days, which is a fantastic game. So she's super talented. The one who hosted the IGF awards.
Yeah, she was really good. I was not familiar with her as a personality. Obviously, I know 80 Days, but like, yeah, she was awesome. She was a great host. She was very impassioned, talking about unions, talking about racism. It was awesome.
God of War.
God of War
winner.
won overall. Yeah,
Once again.
Kurt the Ober did though, right? Like, I think it got like
My favorite game of last year.
It got
Eternally
not,
Overdone.
not it
Incredible.
got shut out. It felt like at every other award show, real award show, like Game Awards or Dice or something like that. It seemed like it was just getting clowned out by God of War time and time again. But yesterday, yeah, indies in general cleaned up really well. Did really really well.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, they got a big old video wall. That was cool.
They did have it. Yeah, I thought the set was really really good. Yeah,
Oh,
really,
that backdrop was a big video wall.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
they had like a video wall border around it, so like all sorts of animations and things like that. Yeah,
GDC? It's been cool.
GDC's been real cool.
Have you gone at all, friend?
No, I didn't go this year. I mean, I would
He's
like
been
to. I
blackballed
just
from the
didn't
industry.
have anything. Yeah, exactly. I didn't really have a reason to go down there, and I didn't register for it. So I probably could have got in, obviously.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Your friend.
if I went, yeah, sure. If I went, I would have gone for the reason that one of the reasons we'll talk about on the show is all those indie games.
The indie showcase.
That's one of the most awesome parts about it is playing a bunch of new indie games. Like,
Yeah.
I always reflect on the Rocket League story, from IGN.
Oh,
where
yeah,
It
yeah.
was, I forget who it was. It was Brandon Jarrell or whatever, but it was like one of those quick, like, play everything, and he didn't know, and like they were dying to get IGN to cover it, and he's like, I don't know. And sure enough, it becomes one of the biggest, esports games and competitive streaming games and stuff. And We always look back at that moment like, yeah, that's why you really got to pay attention.
I mean, who could have known? Like, I remember playing Fortnite at Judges Week in like 2015 or something. And it was like, how the hell would anyone know that this like kind of weak like Minecraft zombie looking game would be the biggest thing in the world?
Right? Yeah. It is hard to. It's funny because you play them so quickly.
Sure.
You're like, I barely even had time to process the last game if I'm moving on to the next one. But sometimes stuff jumps out. Like I'm sure
I mean, that's always the thing, right? That's
Stuff
the thing.
like that
I feel
would
like
be-
when you see a lot of games like that in quick succession, the cream really does rise. Where it is like, what game left an impression on me, right?
Yeah.
That I want to talk about and I can't wait to talk about. I feel like that's the difference. Like even today where I give you my list of games, the things I need to talk about, here they are. And then I was like, oh wait, there was also this thing and I did this and that they're good and I can mention and we're going to talk about all the indies and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the big hits, they come out. You know what I mean? You should know, Fran. All right?
It's true.
You should know.
I should have gone.
Yeah.
I regret it.
Well, not that
Is
far.
that true?
Yeah.
I just should know when I play.
Well, when
this.
you play a game, you should be able to, I mean, when I played DC Universe Online, I knew it was going to be huge.
Yeah.
All right, I knew it was going to redefine
yeah,
MMOs.
that's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
Never shut those servers down.
Free to play.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money. You know how it is.
Servers aren't still up for that, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, I thought they got shut down a while back. Did they come back?
No, they never got shut
For
down.
some reason, I thought they got
Marvel
shut down.
Heroes is done.
Yeah, Marvel Heroes got shut down.
mixing it up.
Gazillion. Anthony Gallegos, kiss of death. He
That's right.
came in there,
It was
closed that
all
thing down in
Anthony's
2
fault.
seconds. You know what I mean?
Poor guy.
Yeah, I got. This will eventually become something bigger, but like for right now, in the pre-show for our patrons or whatever, I got an awesome email last night. And I was talking to the kid today about it. He's like, it just said DC Universe Online is the subject, and the thing's like, hey Greg, I know you used to like this game. I run a league of villains on the thing, and nobody's playing as villains anymore, so it's dead, and they've added so much content. So me and my friends are starting a campaign to get people to come back, and like we don't have money for ads, but we were hoping you'd talk. I'm like, I'll talk about this story. when you launch your campaign to get people to come play as villains in DC Universe Online, I got your back.
You're there.
Don't worry.
For sure. Greg, did you see that someone came in?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Real show though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure we're on the same page.
You have some fun little
Maybe a
surprises.
special
I don't know what it's
announcement.
Wow. It's crazy.
You guys have already had a crazy week.
Yeah, what could beat starting a football team?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been interesting to see. First off, you got to start calling plays for us. You know.
Sure,
Okay. 'Cause
sure.
you-
Tony Romo style.
I know
like,
you're. I know you're a big fan. You know
I
what's
am.
happening out there.
I
I need
am.
you voting for this or whatever.
Sure.
I was blown away by how many people who have no business having enough free time to pay attention to the football team knew about the football team.
Well, it's just you were hyping it up on Twitter.
Well,
That's
sure,
what
but
thought.
I think most people, even you in particular, real people in the industry, I imagine, are so busy they see me being stupid, like whatever. I don't have time to learn about what Greg's talking about. He owns a football team. Who cares?
The amount of time I spend on Twitter is embarrassing. I'll just say that.
Those scoops, man.
Yeah, it was fun though being at the showcase and multiple people coming up to me and be like, "So football?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
as much
that's
sense
the
to me
thing,
as it does
we're
to you."
doing. We're doing
But
that
it's
right
gonna be
now.
awesome.
Yeah. And that was the other thing is how many people actually dug it.
Yeah.
You know, most people were like,
Yeah, no one was giving a shit.
I still had
cool.
the last night at the awards talking to people. They were just like, so it's real people? Like it's and I'm like, yes, it's a real team. You call the plays, you
Yeah,
vote.
like Keely in the elevator.
Yeah. Even Jeff Keely, I was like, all
He was
right,
like-
I was
like,
like,
what? Explain
He
that.
also,
I'd never heard of it
it's a
before.
secret about Jeff Keely. He also spends way too much time on Twitter.
I mean,
He
don't
reads
we all?
everything.
It's not,
He reads everything.
Neither
Yeah.
one of those surprised me.
Yeah.
You or,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Jeff. No.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird how addictive it is. But you just want to know everything that's going on at every single minute of the day.
Yeah.
For me,
Time
it's the I'm totally the same way, and I have
on
the
Twitter right now?
I am Twitter, Instagram, email, right, and so I'll do the cycle,
the cycle.
do the cycle of Reddit, and I'll
Into
do it
one
at
of
my
those
desk,
apps.
and then I'll get up and I've just closed Twitter at the desk and then open Twitter on my phone. Like,
Of
what?
course.
Well,
Nothing's
dude, one of the
changed.
best features Instagram ever added was the "you're now caught up."
Yeah.
So you know that, like, okay, the cycle
really?
is over. Like you're
I've
pretty
never
much
been caught up apparently because I've never seen it.
really.
Yeah, I've never scrolled that far. I have a lot of stuff that I follow, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Or
yeah.
I just don't use
follow
it enough.
too many people on it, so it's like eventually it'll hit a point where like you start scrolling and it says you've seen everything.
Oh, interesting. Never
Twitter
have
should
seen
do that. Although I guess I'll never see everything on Twitter.
Yeah.
Too many
Yeah,
tweets.
Exactly.
It's
Same
impossible.
thing. It's
Impossible.
impossible. Unless you follow like
Many
6 people.
tweets. Yeah.
Just those 6 people.
What have you been up to, Jason, during GDC?
Getting food poisoning. No,
Yeah.
so my podcast, Kotaku Split Screen, we rented out a little booth in the media room, and we just invited people to come to us, which is the best way to do GDC. And you
Yes.
guys already know that because
Yeah.
that's what you do. So we were sitting there. We had 10 different guests, so we're gonna have 5 episodes. I think we've already put up 2 with lots of cool people. Tim Schafer was on there, Phil Harrison, boss of Google Stadia was on there,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of more people. Just just talking about all sorts of things, AAA, indie people, good variety, I guess. So check that out if you're interested in hearing what I did all week.
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
who did you have from Stadium? Phil? Or
Phil Harrison.
Oh, you had
Came
Phil.
on.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was cool.
we had it on
Mike tall enough for that man?
we did the handheld.
Keep going higher.
Yeah, we probed him and he didn't answer a lot of questions, but
You still got good ones.
expected that.
I got it on Games Daily because you guys were the ones that got like the 25 megabits per second, right? For 4K.
Yeah.
Oh,
he said a
awesome.
few things. He said a few things.
Yeah.
He also confirmed that, which I was wondering about, because Google is very much not about exclusives. They're like, we want to put this thing on everything, but the games they're funding, first party and second party, are all exclusive to Stadia. Which is
Really? I
interesting.
missed that.
Yeah. So if you
Phil knows that. That's how the game is played.
exactly. Yeah.
And then it was the same thing. You had the controller thing, right? Where it was like if you have it on TV, you have to use the Stadia
Yeah,
controller.
you have to have the Stadia, which I actually thought you could use an Xbox controller with a Chromecast, but that's not the case, at least not for now.
Kind of makes
It will
some
be.
sense, but yeah.
If Stadia works, I mean, if it's cool, like you're gonna want the
When
controller,
it
right?
works.
Because you want it to go boom right to the thing.
Well, the question is, how much is a controller? How much
Yeah.
is Stadia
Yeah.
itself? I assume Stadia is free, and there's either some sort of subscription or some sort of a la
That's what
carte.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's tiers. Like,
This is going to be a big conversation later.
should we say
Don't
that?
talk about it now.
You gotta-
Instead, Fran, let's
but
talk
check
about
out
your
his
shirt.
podcast.
Fire Team Chat, huh? What's
bro.
that?
Oh, come on. Don't act like you don't know.
I just
That's a
needed to
Destiny
change the
Don't act
topic.
like,
No,
don't
no,
act
no,
like you don't know about the world's #1 Destiny
Rocking it.
podcast.
Missing
Whatever.
it.
How many more qualifiers do we need for this?
Sure to check out Destin and CJ arguing. Man, they were like fighting this week.
Do you still
I was
pop
trolling
in
them.
and do it?
I haven't been on in a while. They've wanted me to be on it, but
Sure.
I've just been, like, a little-
I see.
Well, no, it's on Fridays.
They want you, but you're like, I'm too busy.
No,
man.
Fran Friday. It's
Too-
on Friday
yeah.
now. What am I supposed to do? You're gonna have to change your show schedule if you want. No,
You want Fran Mirabella?
we are trying to figure it out, but yeah,
Good call, Greg. We need that fan.
Not already.
swarming here.
Hot
So,
in here.
when do you guys decide what the football team is named? Like, when does that?
It's,
decision-
We don't
already
decide.
begin. It's already begun.
I saw the poll, but when is it like?
So
decided?
right now, fans, Kind of Funny Best Friends, can go to kindoffunny.com/FCFL. They can submit the name of the team they think it should be
It
named.
should just be the best friends.
Well, then
See.
also, but Milk Mommies is in the running too.
I
We're
know.
big fans
That's
of
the
Milk
one that I'm
Mommies.
so
Unfortunately,
concerned about.
Milk Mommies is
I'm
running
so
away with it right
concerned
now.
about
Wow.
Anyways, it's not official.
Kind of funny Milk Mommies.
So they'll go.
I hate it.
We'll go through.
Please
We'll
no.
see what ranks the highest. Okay, yes, so we could yell all these things, like you, Kevin. And then the top 5, I think it is, choices get posted to the site, and then from there it's hey, vote from that, and then we'll go.
Wow.
I think it should
Letting
be
the
the
fans
Kotakus.
decide.
The Kotakus,
Yeah,
submit
that's
it.
my vote. Yeah, that's my vote.
Hey, it's the Kind of Funny Kotakus, everybody. Everybody's like,
man.
what?
You do not want
it.
that, trust me. You don't want to be associated with us that much. Oh, man. Let's see. You want to just get into it, Greg?
Sure, I'm ready. You ready for a show?
I'm feeling good.
There's a lot to talk about.
There
There
is
is
a
a
lot
lot.
to talk about today. All right. Let's get it going, Kev. You ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 214 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hi.
There he is. And you can find him streaming on twitch.tv/FM3_. The best hair in the business, Fran Mirabella.
What's up, best friends?
Andrea is off doing GDC stuff, so we decided we got to get the best special guest we could. The man whose name we say more than any other human being in the entire world, Kotaku's
Oh, that's cute.
Jason Schreier.
You guys have a crush?
You break all the news. You know what I mean?
You guys like
Our entire business.
I mean,
is
I
just
like
talking
I
about
like you guys too. We can maybe set up a date or something.
Oh, sure.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, the amount of
fantastic.
times you fuck up a Kind of Funny Games daily because
Yeah.
it's like, all right, until next time, been a pleasure to serve you. And then that's when you publish your article. You're like, God damn it, thumbnails on
That's
a date.
what I do.
The
I'm
headlines.
like, what time do you guys record? 1 Eastern? 1
Yeah,
p.m.
yeah,
Eastern?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 2 p.m. That's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot right
Yeah,
after.
that's what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kinda Funny Gamescast each and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We get together, talk about video games, all the things that we love about them. Patreon supporters at the silver membership or above get to watch the show live as we record it, as well as getting the show 3 days early and getting the full exclusive pre and post shows. Or you can watch on Mondays for free on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and roosterteeth.com. Or you can listen on your favorite podcast service. Just search for Kinda Funny Gamescast. This episode is brought to you by Robin Hood and Hymns, but we'll talk about that later. For now, I want to talk about some video games, man.
I would love to
GDC's
talk
been
about
going
some
on.
video games.
Whole bunch
Tim,
of stuff's been happening.
Please get up and vacate your seat. You can
Okay.
come behind me
I
and rub
will.
my
I
shoulders
will.
if you want.
What's happening?
Adam, can we borrow you for the set, please? Come here and take Tim's seat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Adam Nickerson.
Oh, look at this. Nickerson himself.
Sit on down there. Don't be afraid of that mic, Adam. It's a pleasure to meet you in person.
You gotta get close.
We haven't actually. Yeah, you have to be close to the microphone.
Yeah.
We mainly have talked on the Twitter.
Yes.
You're a little boy from where?
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Let's say Vancouver, because if I tell you where, no one knows.
Good enough. I understand. Canada, the Great White North. You know what I mean? A mysterious place. You sprung to kind of funny fame when you made a little game called Ding Dong XL.
Yeah, apparently.
Jared Petty brought it up on this show.
Yeah.
Then we forced everyone to buy it. I heard it was the highest selling Apple game all year.
Well, if
that
was the case,
it's uncorroborated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
He's got an entourage. I think it's all limo out there. I'm pretty sure.
Thank you for making this game. Thank you for putting kind of funny faces in it.
Oh, thank you guys for playing it and kind of obsessing about it.
Yeah.
And all the innuendo about it, because I'll be honest, when I made up the stupid names for my games,
sure,
I for some reason didn't at all consider that. I don't know how that happened.
Ding Dong XL.
It never.
I don't know how that happened, but man, did you guys let me know?
Hey, man, that's what it's about, all right?
See, this is what must have happened with Google. They were like, Google Stadia, and nobody told them, and it sounds like a sugar substitute. Yeah.
You guys were handing out like condoms at GDC, right? That was Ding Dong XL promo, right?
No, but now that's a brilliant idea.
Okay, next, I'm available for marketing consulting if you need me.
Jason, have you played Ding Dong XL?
I have not.
Give a try here to this little one. And now the great thing about Adam is that he's making these games to learn how to make games, correct?
Okay. Yes.
So you make all these little mini games you've been putting out and just having a great time with it.
Pretty much. I was doing IT work and started doing this in my spare time, and I guess people like them.
Yeah, trying to avoid the box. It's like Frogger, right? How many times you get back and forth without getting squished?
Also, I can't remember. I think it was Fran who coined it. The was it Avoid 'em Up or Avoidance game? On one of the discussions, and so I added that as a tag on Steam now.
Ooh, I like
that.
So,
look at that. It might have been GameScoop too, because I know Jared's been over there talking about it a lot too. Or whatever. You're blowing up. You're a huge deal.
It's a very bizarre thing, especially after watching you guys every day, and like it's a very strange thing to all of a sudden someone tweet me, and be like, wait, I'm sorry, did Greg Miller just tweet me about my game?
Yeah.
But
that's how it goes. So what, you brought a bunch of t-shirts? What'd you bring us?
Yeah, I figured you guys would maybe want a t-shirt.
Yes.
You were begging for one,
right, yeah,
if I remember
I'm
correctly.
not afraid. I'm not above it.
Yeah,
I'm not above it.
So,
when I find out there's a Ding Dong XL shirt, you know I want Ding Dong XL.
There's a variety of sizes.
Okay, great.
And who needs what kind of size?
Do you have XL?
There's plenty of. There is XL.
I see me.
There's larges. Oh, and this one. There's this here too.
That's a Nintendo Switch.
Oh, wait a second.
That's weird.
Did you do it? Because this was the one request I had of you when you made this game, and I found out it was amazing.
Oh, that's strange.
Let's
find out.
Oops. Show it to the camera. Look at there it is.
Can we see it?
Is it happening? Well, now I gotta sync the controllers because it's the Switch. It's turning on.
I'm good. I'm new to this.
No, did you buy the Switch just to make your game for it? There it is! Wow. It's happening!
Holy cow!
Ding Dong XL is coming to the Nintendo Switch.
And I'm supposed to say you're welcome from Kirk, who
of course,
unfortunately couldn't be here today.
Sure.
But
dude, congrats! That's awesome.
Just so you guys know, there's a couple other little.
You put Portillo's face in it?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I just saw it. I just saw it.
A couple other things coming. I'm just gonna scroll through them for the people that are watching, and then if you figure it out, you know.
Okay.
And it's coming very soon.
Very soon. That's what you said.
Very soon. You'll be the first to know.
Okay, good. And
then
we'll tell you guys.
You can tell.
Because this is an exclusive announcement right now.
Yes.
Jason,
no
do you
one
want
else
to get your
knows.
computer to write this up?
My laptop's over there. This is basically the work you do, isn't it? Breaking the most important stories in gaming.
Adam, congratulations for coming to Switch.
Thank you very much for having me on, and
no problem.
I'm happy to be here. And
awesome.
All right, now get out.
Thanks. Thank you.
We got so many GDC games to talk about.
Thank you to everyone out there, because they've all been great.
They made it happen.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. That's my platform.
Let me take a photo of it. But yeah, now we can talk about these other games.
That is so much fun. Jason, I want to start with you. Baba is you.
Baba is you.
Particular.
So this is not a GDC game. This is a game that came out, I think, a few days before GDC started, and it is I don't even know how to describe it. It's a puzzle game where you move these words around, and your goal is to get something is win and then step on that object. And it's just this mind-bending, delightful logic game where you are like trying to find ways to manipulate all these different words and make them say things. So if I say Baba is a tree, then Baba, my main character, will turn into a tree. If I say flag is you, then I will be playing as a flag because you is whoever the player is playing as. And it's you guys all have to watch the trailer and check it out.
Kev,
because
can you pull this up?
Incredible.
Yeah, do you type the words in, or do you
no.
select?
So you'll see them. So it's like a 2D moving block puzzle thing. So you're moving around all of these words, and you have to find the ways that they connect to in order to solve each level. And the levels are just like, they get so friggin' hard and mind blending. Yeah, it's really good. It's totally worth playing. I played it for a large part of the flight here. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. See. Okay. So like right there, you would need to get to something. Yeah.
Kevin, can you show the audience? So it's got an overworld map here.
It got a world map. It's huge. There's so many of these puzzles. And then sometimes what they do is like you'll figure one out, and then the next one will be, or the challenge one will be like the same stage, except it's missing one key piece, and you have to figure out another way to do it. Really cool game.
So is Baba the sheep?
Baba is the sheep. There are other characters too.
Didn't even get it. This guy sharp as a tack.
So Rock is a push. So now if you move is push to the lava, you can push the lava over, and then you can get to the flag. Let's see how long it takes the giant bomb to pull this off.
Those clowns. That's probably the entire video trying to figure it out. No, he got it.
So it's super clever because all of these words just have different no, that's not it. All these words just have different properties, and you can do all this cool stuff. And really good game.
So you're trying to put short sentences together to make the world react.
But it gets more and more complicated because soon you'll get he says
lava is push.
Yeah, so now you push it
over,
over,
which gives him the power.
Yep.
Then
so it makes lava pushable. It's like each
really nifty.
Each of the verbs are describing the state, like the rules. It's a game about rules, right? So you're saying lava is push. That means lava is pushable. So really cool stuff.
That's really
awesome.
neat.
Now, for somebody stupid like myself, how quick am I going to get stumped?
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay.
I got stumped incredibly quick. It's so hard.
You won't make
really
past
hard.
the start menu.
Yeah. Lava is start? I don't know. How?
What?
It's the type of thing where you have to have a brain for like those logic puzzles that you do, and it's very, very much all about logic.
Okay.
And like finding ways to break the rules. It's super cool. Highly recommended, and it's on Switch. That's how I played it on the
well, there you go.
So,
okay. Perfect.
A game for Mensa all-stars.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you were like a Mensa's. You're like, that can't be right.
That's Mensa students, and I was like, that's not really a thing.
Well, that's Bloodborne. Mensa students is the...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the academy in Bloodborne. Is
all right,
Mensa
maybe that's
academy.
where I got that from.
That is where you got it.
Sure, and then the next game you want to talk about was Crosscode.
Yeah, so Crosscode is another... I'm just shouting out little-known games. I've raved about Crosscode a bunch on Kotaku and on Twitter, but Crosscode is this game that's like... do you want to pull up like a little bit of footage?
Yeah, Kev, send it to you.
It's a game that's like... It looks like a Super Nintendo game. It's that old school style, and it's kind of Zelda-y in that it's a top-down action adventure type thing. But the twist is that it's all set within a fictional MMO. So you play as this character within the MMO, and as you're going around, you meet other people who are also characters in the MMO, and they have real lives like behind their characters. So all this stuff is within the MMO itself.
So I'm playing the game here. This is I'm playing the inside the MMO.
Yeah, and so your character is this avatar, they're called, who's an amnesiac in true JRPG style.
Sure, of course.
So your part of the story is like figuring out who she is and what her story is.
Crosscode.
It's incredible. It's so good. And
it's
it
like
feels
an R-type.
And then, so the other angle of this is that there are a bunch of dungeons that are like Zelda-style dungeons with puzzle solving, and like you get a new ability in each of the dungeons and use that to solve puzzles. It's incredibly good. This game is coming to Switch, not on Switch yet, but I played it a bunch on PC. Really, really good game. And yeah, as you're walking around this world, you see other players like running around as characters, and like a lot of the quests are just this MMO-style stuff.
There's other
go
online
around
players
defeating. It's not actually
rats.
online. It's within the world of the game.
Oh.
This is the MMO. So like that is an avatar, but she has a real personality outside of the game. And so at the end of like at different story beats, she'll be like, all right, I'm going to log off now. I have to go do schoolwork or something like that. And that's part of the story, is that these are all people in real life who are playing as avatars in the game.
Freaking cool.
It is really good.
So
really good game.
From what we just saw, action, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the mechanics feel really good. Very Zelda, like very SNES, like that precise, like very smooth feel of swinging your blade and shooting. You can shoot like orb things, bullets, basically.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
That's really
that one. Yeah,
so those two, highly recommend them both. Those are my 2 latest obsessions.
Do we know when it's coming to Switch?
Yeah, no, they just said this year.
Gotcha.
So probably E3 or something like that.
Gotcha. Kind of Funny Game Showcase, hit me up.
Yeah, there you go. Fran.
Yo,
Devil May Cry 5. You wanted to talk about it a couple weeks ago, but you didn't get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play some. I don't think we should spend too much time. It is a great game. You were right. It is like what you would expect Devil May Cry to be. I think the only point I wanted to bring up, if you haven't checked it out yet, I mean, it's just so Devil May Cry. Still, you do spend some time wandering around a bit, I would say. But what they did with the characters, the multiple characters, is what impressed me the most. There's so many combos and skills to learn, and so much style to the game. So, like, I mean, I agree. The game is awesome. What I didn't quite catch, though, is there's still that, like, it's not slow, but I don't love the in-between. I know they got to figure it out, but, like, just the way the camera works and wandering around, looking inside.
How far did you get in it?
Oh, about, I don't know, I feel like it was about 8 hours in. So I only unlocked V or something like that. Whenever you unlock V, is it V?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I didn't unlock Dante yet.
Okay, still, there's no way you're 8 hours.
Maybe it
that's
was,
like 5 hours.
Maybe it was 5.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
For me though, I play stuff pretty.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I did happen to pop into your stream for a second, Fred, and I always consider like saying something. I'm like, I'm not going to distract him and slow him down even more because I know how you'll get. Because I see him and he realizes that he needs like 1,000 more red orbs or some shit to like to fight this boss or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he realized that if he died,
you can just keep cheesing it.
You can cheese it and just keep going. Fran does the Fran thing of like, guys, I don't know. Should I just keep killing myself and farm this, or should I just fight the boss? I don't want to cheese it, but maybe I should cheese it. I'm like, man, just fucking make a choice. I need to turn this off.
Try fucking playing the Division
out.
with him. He's sitting there hemming and hawing over guns. Andrew Renee's like, Fran, let's do a mission.
That boss was awesome though, and yeah, like the boss set pieces are incredible. So,
do you plan to keep playing through it?
I do, but right now I don't know when I'll have time. I know we're going to talk more about Division stuff. These grindy games, man, like that's what I'm reflecting on as you talk about all these other games. Like, how do you find time for all this other stuff? I'm always so stressed about playing the games that I play, which right now I still want to get back to Anthem. I play Division 2 now. I'm playing Destiny. And there's so much more to play. I really like Devil May Cry.
You only want one like live service game, like go-to game. You only want one. Like otherwise, you're like for me, it's Destiny. I can't even like I might mess around a little bit with the Division 2 and Anthem I mess around with, but I'm only gonna stick to
I'm screwed
to Destiny.
I've picked 3.
That's the trick.
That's your life now. You just want to spin those plates nonstop.
Apparently, I just need to start streaming all day and just go for it.
That's true.
And
God only knows what you do the rest of the time. Nobody knows.
Is there any additional content coming for Devil May Cry 5? Do you remember?
Yeah, the Bloody Palace, I think is what it's called, is coming, and yeah, it's kind of just that's where it's like the time attacky type stuff, the arcade style like gameplay, where it's just like you can just use all the weapons that you have from the whole game, and it's like really about the stylish combos and being cool as hell.
Yeah, it's cool, man. The style is so cool, and again, what they've done with the different characters and how different it feels, like it's awesome. So
you gotta like when you have the time, I recommend going back because like once you get to Dante, I really feel that's when it like comes together, and it's like it's the reward for the rest of the game, which not in a lot of cases. Saying that means that like it's not fun until then. That this is not that. It all adds on top of each other. That when you get that, all of a sudden you're like, I'm OP as hell. This is great.
And that's fair too. Like games just do that a lot. I remember going back to Zelda's, dating all the way back to Ocarina of Time, and like I always felt like the first freaking 13 hours, I was just like, I know how to play Zelda. You're trying to teach me how to play Zelda, and I just want to get to the good stuff. But they kind of make you get
that's why Breath of the Wild is the best game ever.
Oh yeah, Breath of the Wild. They did the unthinkable. They just dropped you in, and I was like, "This is what I've been waiting for." As a fan, I understand how to play these games. But anyway, to be fair to Devil May Cry 5, like of course it's gonna be probably a little slower up front. It's not really slow; it's super fast. But meaning, I don't love the sort of jumping around in that old school kind of feel, you know, and searching for stuff. Like it's all right, but I just kind of want to get on with it. So I'm looking forward to getting to it later.
So now getting to the Nindies that we played, I want to start off with the big one.
Okay.
Cuphead.
There it is.
Cuphead's coming to Switch, baby. Unbelievable. I just like, I can't believe that this is real life. And more than that, I can't believe that I already have a copy of it that I was able to play. And I'm halfway through the game. And it is freaking fantastic. And it's on Switch and I love it. And it's perfect. It's 60 frames per second. It is like, it feels as at home on the Switch as you'd imagine. Whenever everyone saw Cuphead for the first time, they were blown away by the graphic style and just like how unique it looked and how just like
it seemed
on a whole other
flawless,
level it looks compared to other games of its type. And then the second thought was like, once we knew about the Switch, it's like, would be so great in the Switch, but it'll never actually happen. And I've been playing just on the Switch with the Joy-Cons, which is definitely not the ideal way to play a game like this, but it's still super fun, super works. And I was totally like, I'm only going to play a couple bosses and then stop. And I got hooked. And I was like, here I am halfway through the game again. But it is so mind-blowing to me how well it runs on the Switch. Where the gameplay it's 1 for 1 with the Xbox from my experience. The only difference being the loading, which is very upsetting because it is like 3 times longer.
Really?
Yeah, and I saw Game Explain do a actual side-by-side, and like when I was playing, I noticed it was bad, but I didn't think it was like horrible. It wasn't getting in my way. I was just like, well, this is kind of long. But watching it next to the Xbox, I was like,
is it loading every time you die, or is it loading?
So that's the thing is it's not frustrating because it's not every time you die.
Okay.
When you die, the loading's pretty much instant to try and get back
when
in.
You load into the level for the first
Loading
time.
into any level for the first time takes like 15 seconds.
I wonder why that is,
not
man.
that bad, but
More than what it was before.
More than you'd want. And to me, the thing that sucks even worse than that is not only does it take 15 seconds, but there's like this animation where you see the kind of like film clutter like going around where it's like all
Film
the
dust.
dots and the
The
dust
grain,
and all
yeah,
that stuff. That's over the whole game, right? Even the loading screen, which is black, so it's really noticeable because you just see the film grain. And then there's this little hourglass animated guy that's kind of hopping around, and you see the sand going through. It's just a cute little thing. The slowdown on this loading screen is ridiculous, and it's not consistent at all. And the frame rate just drops, and so you see the film grain just kind of like stuttering, and then this little animation's like barely going, and I'm like, this is bizarre. You should just not have that then.
Was this the
it
final
makes
code?
it look yeah.
Wow.
So it's like that stuff I think is a little weird because it breaks the immersion, and I think that's what Cuphead is best at, is making you believe that you're playing a cartoon, and cartoons would never stutter that way, you know. So even like just though it's a loading screen, I'm like, oh, I really wish this was a little tighter.
Sure.
But again, I would rather that than the gameplay be affected, and the gameplay's not. It's 1080p 60 on docked, 720p 60 in your hands, and for this game it looks great. Another comparison video I was watching next to the Xbox, it seems like the Xbox was a bit duller in color and the Switch one's more vibrant, and I actually prefer the look of the Switch one.
Yeah, it's funny how those, I don't know if they're still, I guess it's digital analog converters, but the way that they're built in the actual hardware, there's always these subtle differences in the color output and all this. They also could have just adjusted it. But it's funny to hear you say that. I thought you were going to say the reverse. So the fact that Switch is maybe more saturated and colorful.
It's definitely, it's more vibrant. It's cool. And you can play as Mugman for the first time in solo. There's cinematics that they added in between the different islands. Whereas before it was just kind of still pictures. Now they're a little bit more animated.
Any additional content?
No real additional content at this point. There's the DLCs coming, and it will be coming to Switch as well. They're putting out a physical version, which is exciting. But they're going to do that once the DLC's added, so it could just be a full package. But Cuphead's one of my favorite games of all time, and playing it again like proves why. Like, it's so fantastic. I feel like every single boss fight it's challenging. It's not impossibly hard. You know, it's like it is trial and error, and like you know what you did wrong, and it's the definition of one more match. I just I'll get it next time. I'll get it next time. And I feel like I'm breezing through now, but that's because I've played it before.
So you got past the tutorial.
What's up?
In that game,
you didn't even play it before. You beat it already.
I did beat it before. I did beat it before, and I will beat it again.
Okay.
I will beat it again.
I'll believe when I see it. You know.
I'm curious. Let's see. Did it come out almost 2 years ago? So,
October 2017.
Oh,
or November.
So yeah, a while back now. But there's normally the exclusivity period, which is what that probably was about. But what I'm thinking about is it's not coming to PlayStation? Like now it's moved on to a Switch exclusive, or like what do you think?
No, not exclusive. But
you see what I mean? Why is it not coming to PlayStation?
I don't think it was an Xbox exclusive. I think Xbox actually funded the game.
Right, through that though, I think they probably put in the contract. I'm just guessing, but they probably are like.
I think it's more that Xbox and Nintendo want to be buddy and want to share each other's thing, and Phil Spencer wants to put his games and his tech on everything possible.
Yeah,
this is the future, and like,
and I bet it would be on PlayStation if PlayStation would like play ball with them.
Yeah,
but you don't have to play this through the new. Did we learn more about Xbox Live services and stuff?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's going to come to Cuphead later on. It'll be a patch added later on that'll give you achievements.
I think there's a little confusion about that stuff because it's like the way that Xbox Live API works is it's all internal. You're not like doing something different from the Switch or anything like that. And in fact, when it comes to games, you probably won't even notice, except you'll go into the game and you'll have your Xbox Live achievements and login and stuff. But it's already there on Minecraft on the Switch, so you can see how that works. So it's
it'll
not like
say
it's
like played on Nintendo Switch.
Well, I think it
give you achievements and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because we have aspirations of the future of like what xCloud and how it's going to use it.
That's the big question.
The image that I still picture is like whatever, a more fully featured logging into a streaming service. But anyway,
Game Pass.
But I definitely there's the building blocks here that we're seeing get towards that, because they talked about Xbox Live support's going to come to Cuphead via achievements. But even right now, it's not Xbox Live yet, but the achievements are in the game. So it's like it's just a menu though, and it says achievements, and they like tick them off. It's just you don't get the little thing popping up at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the question though. Why not PlayStation? What's going on? Like, did they?
Well, I mean, PlayStation's closed,
like,
right?
IP?
I mean, PlayStation's closed down, and they don't want to do anything with each other. And whereas with Xbox and Nintendo, this is the tip of the. I mean, not even the tip of the sword. Tip of the sword is Microsoft.
Because it's not internal studios.
No, it's Microsoft saying, I bet you anything
they own
that Phil Spencer, that like someone at Microsoft sent Sony an email and was like, hey, like, can we talk about this? And either Sony said no, or Sony made some ridiculous demand. Like, they're just not, Sony traditionally, I mean, look at the cross-platform play thing. Like, they've been the ones saying, no, you can't put this on PS4, even though cross-platform can be on Xbox, Switch, and PC. They're the ones who have been super stubborn and like, we have a walled garden with PlayStation, and that's their strategy, probably because they're in the lead.
But in other words, it is still, I guess, a second-party title for Xbox. Right. They own something in stake in it, and so they have a say. Interesting. It would be awesome on PlayStation, obviously. But I'm happy it's on Switch. Like, that's the ideal platform.
It is.
Just like Ding Dong XL.
There
Seriously, that's the preferred.
Really, Switch is the ideal platform for everything.
Yeah, right.
Did you guys play Cuphead at all on Xbox?
Yeah, PC.
Yeah, I played it for a second on PC. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I played it at events and stuff, and you know me, I was just like, this is grueling. This is not why I play games. I don't want to be constantly beat down and told I suck. I get that enough from my wife.
I love it. Yeah, exactly. I love it.
She's very supportive.
It is so brutal. It takes so much like persistence, concentration. So I was playing it on stream, and people love to watch you fail at that game. There's nothing better than watching somebody fail at Cuphead, and probably Dark Souls and Sekiro soon. The second thing is, and I have the clip, I actually should make sure I've archived this clip entirely. The earthquake at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm sitting there playing freaking Cuphead, and I've got my headphones on, I was like immersive, and it actually was exploding on screen, and it took me a hot second to figure out that I was shaking in like real life. And I was like, whoa,
that's so funny.
Earthquake. And I was like, all right, back to the game. Nothing disconnected.
I remember that. That's hilarious.
It was insane. I always have that memory with Cuphead.
4D.
I was streaming while freaking playing Cuphead.
The thing about Cuphead, honestly, is that it's not comparable, I'd say, to like the Souls games and that type of stuff, because everything is over in a minute. Like the boss fights last a minute and a half.
If you're as good as you are, yeah.
No.
You mean like, if you do them, yes.
Yeah, succeeding at that takes a minute and a half. And it's like then going back. And that's why I think it's really great is that it's designed to be, every boss fight has kind of phases, right? And like when you die, you see the little flag checkpoints and see how many phases you made it through. And it's like once you lose 15 times and you realize like, okay, I know I can make it to phase 2 easily. I just need to keep going. By the time you beat it, it's a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Like some of them are less than a minute. And it's like, that's what I love about it, is that it's not ever asking you to do something that's super difficult for 5-10 minutes at a time.
I see what you're saying, that you have to memorize that long of a sequence.
Yeah.
But they randomize some of those patterns, but once you know what you're looking for, it's an amazing game. I mean, everybody already knows it. Can't
wait for more people to play it. It's going to sell so well on the Switch.
It really
my
is.
God.
It's the perfect platform for it, except for the loading, apparently.
Bloodroots, Greg.
Bloodroots. Yeah, we did a party mode here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. It's full disclosure, this is a pop agenda game, and so if I'm going to say that I like it, which I do,
chill.
Obviously, Jen is doing PR and marketing for it. She does for Cuphead as well, but I ain't got shit to say about Cuphead. So whatever. No, Bloodroots is really fun. The party mode, I think you should go check it out. The party mode is time trials, right? But the idea here is that you're this wilderness dude in his bearskin cap, and you have to go through and kill all these people. You kill everybody in an area to then advance to the next one. However, it's more than just punching, right? It is you go through and can pick up anything in the environment and use it as a weapon. And it's real fast. It's about going as quickly as you can. So when you actually are feeling it and going person to person, thing to thing, you're spinning the ladder touches the fire and gets on fire, and it's more powerful. You pick up the sword, and all these weapons have different attacks and cannonballs and all this stuff. It gets they want it to be this like action movie, right, that never ends. It's kind of like Jackie Chan meets the Revenant thing is what they were talking about with it. And
okay,
the elevator pitch for this is amazing. I mean,
and it feels that way. And it was, you know, when we were, I hadn't thought of it much as like this is what they've done at PAXs before, where you play and try to set the times and stuff. And they were doing it yesterday at the Nindies thing we went to. Playing it that way, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense, and it is such a cool way to do it. And doing it locally, where we were challenging each other's times, it was really smart. And even getting to watch, you know, Kevin went dead last and still couldn't learn from everything we had done. In the same way, I watched Nick fail at a bunch of stuff, and I couldn't. I was watching Nick fail, and I'm like, oh, well, duh. And then I got in there, and it would throw me off, and I couldn't do it, and I would get hung up on what the challenge was, where I died. But then the thing I had beaten no problem before screwed me. I was like, damn it. It's like, it's that fun. It's like what you're talking about, like one more match, right? It's the same idea here of like, I can get this. I can do this if I just go through and do it that way and that way. And you know, not like Ape Out or whatever, where the levels are procedurally generated. You don't know really where you're going. This one, like when you die and restart or where you go, the people are all in the same spots. When we did multiple matches, they were all in the same spot. So you can survey the field, and even once you have beaten it, imagine coming back and trying to do it better and better. But the art style is really cool. I thought that was good. The gameplay's fun. I like all the different things you can use and do. So go check out the party mode if you want to know more.
Awesome. And then the next up was Neocab.
Neocab, yes. When we were watching the Nindy showcase, we were doing that thing where we're trading, oh, that one's for me, oh, that's not for me, blah, blah.
This is a Greg Miller ass game.
I'm like, what, a game where all I do is talk to people, color me interested, right? This is an emotional roller coaster of a game. The trailer looked great, and it had like almost like a Neo Tokyo Archer style to it, right? Is what I thought looking at it, right? Because it's those deep and dark purples and pinks, right? But with that kind of archery, like black hard-lined outlook or whatever. And the idea here is that you drive an Uber in this weird future, right? And you're driving through the streets of this made-up California town, and it's all story-based, right? And so the story is that you came to town and reconnected with your best friend. You guys hadn't talked, I think, in a year, maybe a little bit more. But you've come back to town. You're gonna move in with your friend. You're gonna set everything straight. And that first night, your friend goes missing. And so now you have to drive the car to earn enough money to keep going to try to figure out what's going on. And it's one of those games, you know, they talked about it. I forget what I had it in my notes on this. These are my notes from playing, not my notes from watching the thing, but they talked about it being like, you know, an emotional roller coaster or something to that effect. And they showed like basically like a JRPG chart of like your emotions and what colors they were.
Feel grid or something like that.
Yeah, right.
I wish I had one of those.
Oh, yeah, it'd be nice to know how we're actually all feeling. But what's cool about that is the game's meant, it's, you know, it's basically takes place over a week is what they were saying. It's meant to be played multiple times. There's 21 characters in the game. You can't meet them all and engage with them all as you do it through one playthrough, because your emotional spectrum, based on the conversations you're having, based on the outcomes of the conversations and what's going on, your emotional spectrum then can only, like, somebody will get in the car and they're happy, but if you're angry, then you're not going to be able to have your certain question or dialogue options will be grayed out, right, or be changed between them because of the emotional state you're in. So you have to play through it and then play off of it, and then kind of, you know, be a good Uber driver, right, and play off who's in the car and what do they want to hear, or are you mad, or you want to. It's really a fascinating idea of it, right? And so you have to keep your star rating up, otherwise you get bounced from being an Uber driver, which is like a game over, because if you do, you can't afford to sleep somewhere, charge your car. Like, it's like a resource thing, because it's charging your car, sleep, where do you go, like there's a map, and to figure out where you want to go to try to get rides and stuff like that. It's this weird emotional story that's resource management that's driving an Uber. I'm like, yes 1,000 times I want to play this entire thing. I can't wait.
That's hilarious.
It's called Emo Cab.
I mean, yeah, I think that's pretty much what they're giving off, right? Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's super cool.
That sounds awesome.
I feel like someone who was an Uber driver aspiring to make game that's made this game. Maybe it's so like, I don't know. It feels almost like something that is reflecting on, you know, their life as an Uber driver.
Art.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's like definitely taking like all these themes we all have, right, of those weird conversations you have in Uber, and like somebody's been like, how do I make a game out of that, and then figuring out how to do it.
I got thrown out of one once, so.
Out of an Uber?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
It was, I don't even, well, a little bit. Very fast. So
he friended this up,
I didn't. Sure. This guy was a jerk. So I got in. No, sorry. I called the Uber, and it's pulling up. It's an Uber pool, by the way. So there's a couple people, but whatever. He's pulling up, and windows are all closed up. and he's looking at me, and he's doing this. And he's waving me into the car. And I was like, I thought he was telling me go ahead, and I'm like, I don't know. And I opened the door. He's like, get in, man. And I was like, what? You know, I was like, hopped in. I was like, what's up, man? Everything cool? He's like, yeah, busy street. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, you can pick me up anywhere, man. Doesn't matter. You didn't have to like wave me in, or you could call me. And he's just like started to get snappy with me. And so we went back and forth a few times. He's like, you know what, man? I don't like this. Get out of the car. And I was like, what? And he drops me off in like the middle of the ghetto. Wow. Of course, I wrote Uber a very big write-up. And hopefully they reprimanded him. It was so lame, man. Throwing me out of the car.
I don't know if you're gonna do well at Neo Cab, man.
Yeah,
Neo Cab, you might not. You're not gonna have the emotional spectrum. I feel to really see all 21 characters.
Oh man, Swim Sanity, Greg.
Swim Sanity. This is a real short one. Two brothers are working on this game. Right, it's their idea. I think they have a third partner now doing art or whatever. One of the brothers, big Kind of Funny fan, so shout out to him. Multiplayer game. Did you see this? You remember this one during it? The Nindies. It's the one where you're underwater swimming, you're shooting. It's like, you know, twin stick shooting all in different directions, moving to whatever side. So I played both competitive and then cooperative. Competitive is what you'd imagine, right? It's all of us swimming around the map, right, shooting at each other. There's different power-ups that we can earn. Like you have an ultimate pretty much that you're building up to that you can unleash, which you like, you know, for one of them was you turn into a tank so you can't take damage, but you have this giant gun that's a one-hit kill, but it moves slowly and stuff like that. There's, you know, healing ones you can do in cooperative play like that. You're going around. I thought swimming in competitive, and this is just the style of the game, I think, felt slow to me. But of course you're underwater, so that's the kind of the point. I think there is a dash button, right?
Everyone's favorite levels, underwater.
Exactly. Yeah. But there is a dash button to get away from stuff and move around. But you know, since I'm twin stick shooting, right? Like my thumb's already down here, my fingers already on the triggers. It was weird to jump up and do it. But I think it's like that's what the balance of the gameplay was. So, long story short, I'm playing competitive. I'm like, okay, it's bright, it's colorful. I don't know. I'm not really enjoying this part of it though. Probably a game I'll skip out on. You know what I mean? And then the cooperative part, where it was all of us PvE, that was a lot more fun. I felt like we played the one that I think's in the trailer of what looks to be, I think it's the giant orca or whatever. It's the black and white fish, at least, with really gross teeth, gnarly teeth coming at you or whatever, right? Yeah, so that's we start the level and he's like, come on, we gotta go. And so we're all swimming and we're all attacking all these different things. We're all building up to our own ultimates that, like, I was terrible at the game, so I needed to use the heal on myself, but I could have used it on other people. When everybody had them and like we were close to the big fish, you could set them all off together, do like one giant super ultimate. But going forward, similar to like, you know, being underwater in Mario, you're fighting all these different guys that are coming at you. You have a health bar that's dropping if you get hit, but then it would be like different pathways to go. And so then up top, there'd be things anchored by giant chains, but we could blow apart the chains to go through, but then it would come down and like block other people. So like there's this thing of trying to get through everything and work together while keeping your ultimates up and doing all these different things. I thought the cooperative for me would be the way to play it, and I think it would make a really good party mode of us all swimming through trying to do stuff, because you know, the entire time the giant fish or whale was coming at us, and you know, it did get us in the end. Spoilers. Yeah. But it was cute, it was fun, and you know, it's a cool story of just two guys who wanted to make a game, and they're self-taught. They've been making, you know, working on this. So
another cool. Two guys making a game story, Creature in the Well. This is one of the ones. If you had NeoCab, I had Creature in the Well. When I saw that, I'm like, I want to play this game. This looks awesome. It's like Hyperlight Drifter meets Breakout / pinball.
Huh.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it's isometric and you're walking around like hack and slash style, but you are hacking these balls, like light balls that bounce off and hit different things in the environment that'll light up or disappear. And like it's very mechanical looking, where there's like the world's kind of built like a pinball machine. So a lot of bouncing off and stuff. You can kind of charge the ball up with one of your weapons and then hit it with another one, which will slice the ball. So multiple balls will go. And like you're getting all these, like, it's your score is the light balls bouncing off things and kind of getting your light meter up. And then you use your light meter to open up different doors. And it kind of becomes this give and take of there's a ton of different rooms and you have to decide, do I want to go left? Do I want to go right? And you don't need to do both. But if you do both, then you get more lights, which allows you to get better weapons. And it's kind of just that loop I already started seeing where I'm just like, all right, like it is definitely designed to allow you to critical path it where you are just doing the straight challenges. But it's always worth it to go the other way, because you'll find a room that is just kind of a lineup where you shoot one ball and it just goes brrr, and you're just like racking up scores.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of like the most satisfying part of pinball, which you would know.
Heck yeah.
Fran,
love
the pinball wizard. Fran Mirabella.
Sam Claiborne and IGN is the pinball wizard, but I do love pinball.
Yeah.
Every time I go somewhere with it, I have to play. So
you guys need to see Fran Mirabella play
it's more
pinball.
The experience of watching me. Like
it's so physical. The way that he makes love to that machine, man. Oh my god. But no, seriously.
You gotta get a little shake.
Oh my god. But seriously, like you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like when you get that ball and it's just like bouncing off the jackpot or whatever the hell it's called. And this game kind of has that feeling a lot. And it's really cool where it's the risk versus reward of like how much am I willing to go out of my way to get that, you know, kind of exhilarating feeling. The game looks really cool. It's very, very, very cinematic. Like it reminded me a lot actually of the Go games, like Lara Croft Go and Deus Ex Go and stuff, where it's like when you're going through and like the camera will just shift and like crazy monsters are like moving through. And it's really impressive to me how you can make a very, very, very simple looking game feel grand and cinematic.
Sure.
But they did a great job with that. Control wise, I didn't love it. And I found myself wanting to have certain buttons flipped, and I was asking them if like we can do that, and they're like, no. I was like, but that's good feedback. Maybe we can see if we can get that fixed, because like I just couldn't fully wrap my head around, because you're moving and aiming with the same stick. It feels like it should be a twin stick shooter at certain points, but it's not.
Yeah,
so you with your triangle button, right? Or I know it's on Switch, but I'm not good at the fucking buttons. Triangle is you're kind of like you charge up the light, and then square would be you hit the light away. It's the flip of that. But in my mind, that's what it should be. So I kept X, like fumbling that. But on top of that, it's like you'll charge the light, and then with the same stick that you're moving with, you aim to hit it into one of the bumpers, and then you have to hit the other button to hit it off, and then eventually, as things get harder, you need to bounce it, and like keep catching it and like baseballing it away.
Wait, what does the right stick do?
Nothing.
Oh, right. Yeah, I would have expected that option.
But I keep thinking it's going to. So it's like, this is definitely one of those examples of like, I'm just not playing the game the way that they want me to. I'm also very stressed out because the developer's right here, and I feel very embarrassed that my gameplay is absolutely horrible, and somebody next to me is accidentally capturing my gameplay instead of theirs on their handheld thing, and I had to be like, hey, you could use that, but you don't want to.
You want to come in and back. But that I hate that when something isn't intuitive. And granted, it is a person-by-person thing a lot of times, but then it isn't some other times where there are natural things we all look for in controls, right? That you think should work this way, and when it doesn't, it does throw it off, and it does take away from the experience of trying to relearn how to do that.
And I'm sure that like when I have it, and I can kind of dedicate a bit more to it. I mean, like I might be able to, I didn't have it click. I guess that's the thing.
Didn't, and I didn't play this demo. I watched you play for a little bit. You didn't start at the very beginning of the game, I assume, right?
I think I did.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. And like again, like the challenge ramped up accordingly. Like it felt appropriate. It felt right. It's just I was fucking up. I knew I was fucking up, but I kept feeling I was like, fuck. I know what I want to do, and I'm just not doing it.
You should have been like, guys, don't worry, I'm good at Cuphead.
Trust me. Greg was behind me actually saying that. The whole
time. So proud, and it became a joke here, and now the Cuphead's back. I can use it all the time.
All the damn time.
So whenever I was out, you tell these guys you beat Cuphead.
But I mean, Cuphead's another example though, and it's like I don't want to sound like a broken record with this shit, but it's like when controls don't work the way that you want them to,
intuitive
it can totally kill a game. And the Cuphead's default control scheme is trash. Like I don't know how they thought people could play the game that way. Like you'd need the lobster claw the entire time, and it's like it is just so crampy and so horrible. And the good thing about the game.
That's good. That's good. I don't think people say that, but that's a good way to describe a game with bad controls.
But the best thing about it is it's fully customizable. So you can do whatever you want. You can change it, and I love it. I know I'm like, okay, cool, this works how I want it to. And I just feel like every game should have that option.
I actually think it's interesting is that when you're making an indie game and you don't have a lot of resources, but how hard is it to add that in? Because that could be a huge barrier to entry the first time people try. So maybe that is something that folks need to prioritize more, like just customizable controls could go really far in taking someone past the, you know what, it's not for me, right? Because I do think it's important. Yes, exact, dude. Same problem, dude. Perfect for bringing it up. The default controls make no freaking sense, and it took me a while. I was like, I got to change up Devil May Cry controls. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah,
so,
but they let you.
Yeah, they let you do it, and then it totally works. Yeah, yeah. I was looking at the footage. It kind of looks, a little almost like Hades as well.
Yeah, it does.
I was playing Hades. You almost want that, hitting a ball around the room, destroying stuff. I get it, but in Hades, you can do what you're talking about. You can target with the right stick. So I get why you would want to do that.
And I get from a gameplay perspective, it's like they're not trying to make that game. Like they're not trying to make the right stick work, which is fine. I just feel like I was struggling with it. And again, I need more time with it. Like, I don't like this game is cool and so much about it. I want to go back to it. April 18th. No. That's for Katana Zero.
Yeah,
Summer.
it is Katana Zero.
But let's talk about Katana Zero.
Summer 2019 is what
Did you get to play it?
Minimal hands-on with it.
Okay,
I got to play for 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah. I watched over the shoulder I watched Andre Seeger's hog the thing. He didn't let me play. I came back in before I had to leave. I watched somebody else hog the whole thing, and then I had to go to another demo. But from everything I saw, I'm all about this game.
That's the problem, in quotes, is that was the start of the show. Everybody wanted to play it.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get multiple hands on with it. Watching people play, it was so great because we were in this room with like, I don't know, 60 people in it, I would say.
Yeah.
All playing different games. And this one kid was just playing over and over.
Was she just hogging it the whole time?
No, it wasn't. But this one kid was playing, like this one room was just fucking his day up. And he was like trying over and over and over. And then eventually out of nowhere it just goes, yes! And like everyone stopped and like looked over and it was so scary, but everyone again had that moment.
That's a good sign.
They had this moment where they're like, you did it, man. Good for you. Like it was great.
That's just like Cuphead. Same deal.
Exactly. But yeah, Katana Zero, man, it just looks like the word cool turned into a video game.
Yeah.
It's like all the things that you could want. All right.
2D side scroller.
Great pixel art. 2D side scroller that has the kind of ambition of the Messenger mixed with the quick, you fuck up, you get to do it again of Celeste, mixed with just the coolest 80s synth soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like all of it, it's just like, I'm totally into this. And there's like a rewind time feature going on. And on top of that, they have a very unique storytelling mechanic where you talk to your therapist about the adventures that you had that day, but like you can
Tomb Raider.
You can skip, but you can skip it if you want. And that'll affect the gameplay and story. And
really?
I'm like, this is cool. I love that.
That was the thing.
Or Until Dawn. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. From the trailer, like that and getting your drugs, it's like it's got the Celeste vibe, it's got the Hotline Miami vibe, it's got the Messenger visual style, right? But it's like there seems to be an undercurrent of something else happening there, right? That I'm like really into, as well as into, one hit kill. You get hit once you're dead, but you can shoot around the level with your like ninja skills, and then you can hit the bullets back at people. And I'm like, this seems awesome.
So to me, the Messenger vibe that I'm getting is there's something else going on here, type of thing. Where it's like, I think visually it's actually very unique. This is a type of pixel style that like we haven't really seen. It reminds me more so of a pixelated Metal Slug.
Yeah.
Than a lot of the other type of platformers we've been seeing recently. But it looks really cool. It looks challenging, but not like beat you over the head difficult. Yeah. And the story elements seem cool because it's like, it's a 2D platformer, but then you'll talk to characters and like options will come up and you can choose one of them, or you can just choose to like essentially put in your headphones and hit play on a cassette, and it's just this rockin' 80s music. It's like very, very cool. I watched multiple people play through the same sections I did and make different choices, and it seemed to really affect what was going on. And yeah, you take drugs to slow down time.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And it does cool things where you'll be in a hallway and there's like a vent fan going and you need to try to get through it. If you try to if you try to dash through, you'll die. It puts you back in the beginning of the room. You have to go through again and slow down time. But the effects are cool where the fan is like animated in 3D coming towards you. So it's like, it's playing with depth in a way that I thought was really interesting. And it does the whole kind of like, the silhouette thing that we've seen a bazillion times now, like starting with like Donkey Kong Country Returns, where it's like you get those levels that are just beautiful art style, Limbo even, I would say. But I feel like this, from what I've seen, kind of
it looks awesome.
Adds a gameplay mechanic to it, where and we've seen it before, like in Sonic Mania, some of the levels had it, but you can kind of go behind the foreground, and that'll affect what can hit you and what can't. So it's very cool, very exciting, and that one's April 18th.
Shout out shout out to the keen-eyed, kind of funny best friends, and then the developer Justin. When we were watching this, it popped up and you're like, oh, I've heard of this game, and I was like, man, I haven't. This looks awesome. I can't believe I didn't know about this game. Walked in, literally walked to the couch. Justin, the developer, saw me, came over, was like, oh, hey, you're Greg, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, I just wanted to thank you. I don't know if you remember, 4 years ago, I came and showed this game on your GDC live stream. I was like,
wow.
No, I don't remember
that at all.
I will be honest with you. I don't remember that, but that makes sense. It was either, it was at Patreon. So it might have been like, remember how we
switched off.
People, there was that. And then we did the party on top of like our all day stuff. So it might have been one of the party ones where we didn't actually book it. It was that like the Indie Mix people brought people through.
Because that
either
game.
Way, and regardless, I was like, this is what I want to play right now.
It's a standout, man. 6 years, I think. And the last thing I want to say about it, and the thing that I'm most excited about is, I think Celeste was such a game changer because it added the story elements to a 2D platformer, and it made the story feel like it affected the gameplay and made me want to push harder to find out what's happening and all of that. And I feel like this is next step in that as well, where it's like they're taking in it, but it's a totally different vibe. So very excited for Katana Zero.
It's not been on my radar, but I have to say, listening to you talk about it and looking at it, the hype meter went way up.
It looks cool.
It looks so cool, and I love like the whole retro synth vibe with like guitar. And it's got guitar too.
So
you keep mentioning Celeste. What did you think of the music and stuff in Celeste?
It's great.
Yeah, those two guys made it over there.
Wait, what?
That's what it is.
Oh my God.
We're the sound designers.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Life's really, really, really
What if
weird.
he had
But
said,
yeah,
"Oh,
oh my
that's
God.
terrible."
Thank you guys for making
I know he loved Celeste.
Yeah.
I took a shot. You know what I mean? Whatever.
That's why I recognize the guy with the beard on stage at DICE all the time.
Yeah.
Accepting
All the
awards.
time.
That
They
was
walked
it.
in. Adam walked in. I was like, "Oh yeah, Adam's gonna be on the show." And then they walked in. And I was like, "Oh my God, did I double book devs and I don't remember the other devs?" And then he DM'd me. He's like, "Oh, the Celeste guys." And I'm like, "That's why I know him. I remember him from the awards last night."
Oh, fuck. That's so awesome.
Congrats.
Well, you guys made one of my favorite games of all time. So thank you for that. My friend Pedro.
Oh right, yeah. I played this too.
I did not get hands-on with this one.
I did. I don't understand. It's a game I want to sit down and play from the start. Because jumping in, you look at it, and you're like, oh my God, you've seen it, right, Jason?
Remember
This
seeing the
Devolver
trailer?
one, slow motion, you're talking to a banana. It's kind of like,
I didn't watch the Nindy thing. I was at a panel at.
oh, okay. Well, this one's been at a lot of PAXs and stuff. Devolver's been doing this one for a while. This one, I always thought looked like, oh, it's Deadpool. And then playing, I'm like, oh, it's a Deadpool game, which is great. That's fine. It's cool. Like, you don't heal, but I mean, it is like you're wearing a mask. You're crazy enough to talk to a banana. He's giving you missions, like whatever, cool. And he's a talking banana. I always thought, looking at it, Kevin's showing it right now, like how slow people are moving and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, like that's like some kind of bullet time thing, right? It's not. Like that's how you move in the game. And so jumping in, I was like,
time is so
oh, I
nice.
didn't expect it. Well, even some of this, it looked like that. That's like, you see what's happening here. Like he speeds up a little bit there, but I don't know. It never got super fast for me. And I was like, I don't understand what's happening. Is it just this level? Is it not? Is it something I'm missing? Is it whatever?
Interesting.
And so like, I like it. It is something I want to do more with. It also wasn't easy, if that makes sense. Like looking at that, it looks so good to do cool shit. It was me, it's twin stick again, so I'm moving so I'm running in and like my back's to the wrong, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm shooting, I gotta do this whole thing and come over here and I'm shooting. It was like, I felt like an idiot for a lot of part of it, but it was fun to like, be crazy, be doing these crazy moves. If you spin like in a circle, in a circle as you move, you can dodge bullets that way. You can flip tables and go into cover behind them. You can shrink down into a little somersault ball and go through things. Like it's got something there. That
It looks like there's a rhythm there too. That like
exactly.
you just need to
and that was my thing. Is
understand.
I think for sure I don't even know if I was at the start of the demo because it was literally just an unattended switch that I picked up, and so I was like restart the level, and so I was deep into it. So I don't understand all the mechanics. It left me not like, holy shit, I can't wait, but definitely where I'm like, I want to see this through. I want to get it from the beginning and see what it's all about.
It looks cool, man. Yeah, it's like Matrix meets John Wick meets, what's the game with like the floppy arms that you like try to knock?
Gang Beasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost, it looks a little like you have those arms,
yeah.
but then you're also John Wick and they're just like spinning around and stuff. It looks cool. There was a sequence in the trailer where he's like on a barrel, like shooting everyone around him. Looks really cool, man. Also excited about that one. June 2019 is what Steam says.
Yeah. Getting out of the Nindies, Greg.
Indies can go to hell.
Quest.
Oculus Quest blew my goddamn mind.
Saw this post.
Yeah.
It got me excited.
So the backstory to this is Oculus people, a friend of mine who used to do PR, or PR friend who did PR at Activision forever, who I've known forever, is always trying to get me to do Oculus stuff. I'm like, nah, PlayStation VR or death. Thank you very much. And then it was like, all right, cool. We have Beat Saber stuff. And I'm like, all right, now I'm listening. What's happening?
Yeah.
And so when they were getting ready to do the Beat Saber DLC pack, there was like, hey, how could we work with you guys for an announcement of that? And then it was, all right, cool. We want to announce that Beat Saber is going to be one of the launch games for Oculus Quest. Could we do something around that? And we went around for a while. And this is not a great fit for us. But she's like, well, you have to come to the event then. I'm like, all right, cool. And so I was totally late. It was Monday night. We filmed extra stuff here, so we were running late. I got down there after dropping Porty off. There was 30 minutes left in the event. And so it was immediately like, oh my gosh, all right, cool. Come upstairs. And they took me upstairs and like, here's the Beat Saber devs. And I got to finally meet them like face to face. And I was like, oh man, that's great. I love the game. You're so great. And so it was cool. And I was like, all right, well here, you got to go. Like we're running out of time at 8 o'clock. They shut this event down. Here's the quest. Here's the sticks. All right. So I put the quest on, grab the sticks, and I hit to play, and it went play, and then I could hear it. And I was like, wait, and I'm in VR, but I'm like, wait, where are the headphones? Because no one put the headphones on me. There was, there were no little headphones that slid down off the sides. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, they're built into the band. So the band has the stereo speakers, projecting
it's like those
into
neck headphones you can get where it like
projects but these ones are just perfectly built in. I didn't notice them all. Now, granted, I put the headset on in 2 seconds, but I wasn't paying attention. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I start playing Beat Saber. It is Beat Saber as I've played on Oculus or Vive. You know what I mean? And I've my lion's share of my 99% of what I've played of Beat Saber, of course, is PlayStation VR, where I was playing every day for a long time. And I'm playing, and immediately I'm like, yep, this is Oculus. Like the tracking is flawless. It's great. I feel in complete control. Whereas with PlayStation VR, every so often I'll see like my left stick, start turning around and do stuff. And usually it's fine when I use it, but it will wig out a little bit, and I have to like snap it in or stay out of the direct sunlight or stuff like that at home. But I'm doing it. It's great. I'm going, and I start to notice, I'm like, well, I'm dancing, like they have the mat down, right? They have the rug down there, and I notice that I'm off the mat, but I'm like totally into it. I'm doing my thing, and I'm not.
You're outside now.
I'm not.
Walked out of the building. I'm fine. I hear
it's direct sunlight, and it works still.
I hit Phil Harrison right in the head. I'm on the stage with him at Google. No, I finished the song, and I've been all over the room and like super free. It's super light. It's great. And I pulled it off, and she was like, "Do you want another song?" And I was like, "No." And I looked around, I'm like, where are the cameras? And she's like, no, the cameras are in the headset. They're on the headset. Like, there's no external cameras to worry about. And I was like, okay, where's the PC? And she's like, did you not read the no, there's not, no, it's just the headset and the wands. And I was like, I need someone to explain this to me. I totally went in there like a moron, not understanding anything. I'm thinking it was, because it was like, oh, Quest is the new wireless Oculus. I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like the HTC Vive we have from the Amazon streams, right? That has no wires. I get it. It's still tethered to the system. It's still tethered to cameras. I didn't realize this was a standalone solution to VR. And it was just what you use. $400, it's the headset, it's the wands, and you're playing it, right? And that's why it was a big deal. I finally got clicks of like, oh, Beat Saber's a launch game because it's not the entire Oculus library, right? They're gonna have to make games for this, do all these different specs for it. And so yeah, it was a legitimately like, oh my God moment for me of, I'm an idiot for coming in completely unprepared, not looking at all of what the Quest was, but it was also,
it's kind of exciting to experience it that way.
Totally. And that was the thing of like, I was surprised again because I was unprepared for it and thought I was really just going to, oh, cool, yeah, I'm going to see what this thing's about, whatever. When I tweeted about it, like the immediate reaction people had was like, number one, that's so great. And then number two, but like, what are the visuals like? Are they totally degraded? Are they blah, 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 blah? And so keeping in mind that I played it, not understanding I should be looking for that, right? I played that, and to me, that was Oculus. Now, again, I don't play Oculus ever, unless it's like, we're doing the streams or whatever, or it's an event. So I can't sit here and tell you, oh my God, yeah, it looks just like every other Oculus game, or it looks like what I remember Beat Saber on Oculus looking like, and Vive looking like, which means to me that it looks great, because playing Beat Saber on PlayStation VR, I'm like, yep, screen door effect, everything's a little bit duller, it's not as sharp. Still a great looking game, but not as sharp as it is when I use it. When I took it off, they would have been like, yeah, you've been playing on a real Oculus. I'd have been like, oh, it makes sense, cool. What's the next game? You know what I mean? Like, it looked that good to me. I'm not the guy who can compare it Oculus to Oculus, compared to PlayStation VR. I think it looks better than PlayStation VR. So that's a feather in its cap. And then the other thing I would say is that they were like, oh, we want to show you a couple other things. I went downstairs, right? Played another game there that was a completely different game. It was on a real Oculus. I was tethered, which immediately I put that on. I'm like, oh no, I've tasted greatness. I can't do this. Oh no. But you put it on, and that game, while completely different than Beat Saber, that game to me looked worse than Beat Saber. So this is the thing of trying to compare this, right? Having extensive Beat Saber knowledge, playing Pop Stars and Beat Saber on Oculus Quest, I thought it looked awesome and great, and it wouldn't be what I was expecting. If you were to hand me, my phone in a VR thing, I know what it's going to look like and what quality I'm going to get. This tricked me not knowing that I was getting into that in a blind taste test. I would have been like, oh yeah, sure, this is what Beat Saber looks like on Oculus. I
should
get
have
it.
just recorded you and made that the commercial for the.
You know what? They might still. This might be a very low quote
there
on
was
it.
cameras.
But loved it. I thought, yeah, I was totally in. It's crazy. You know, I talk about it of, you know, I was doing the Beat Saber stuff every day in December after it launched, right? And it wasn't until January when Jen and I went to Montreal that I totally fell off and haven't gotten back on it, right? Because it was vacation and I'm not going to bring my entire PlayStation VR with me and my unit, blah, blah. This is such an awesome solution to that of, yep, just toss it in a bag. You know what I mean? It's the size of my travel kit with my toothbrush.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Rami from Vlambeer, you know, tweeted this week of like, he couldn't be without his Beat Saber on PlayStation, so he actually did bring his PlayStation, then bought another PlayStation VR unit here and is selling that before he leaves. And it's like, what a weird little fix for this is, you know what I mean? Or have those kind of things.
Interesting.
Beat Saber's a great game, Chase.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah,
I don't know if you know this.
I mean, I'm not a VR person.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll make you. All right. Yeah. How many? It won 2 awards last night.
I already have
GDC
food
awards.
poisoning. You want me to just literally?
Wait, actually, why aren't you a VR person?
Because it makes me motion sick.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's why.
I get you.
And also, I mean, I don't like the idea of shutting myself off. I live in New York. Fire can break out at any time.
Yeah.
My wife
Number
would
one
be
killer
pissed.
of people in New York.
Many
Fire.
different things could break out, including
exciting.
a zombie apocalypse. Greg,
Wow,
the
what a
final game to
transition.
talk about
Yeah.
today, World War Z.
Right? Yeah. They were trying to get me to go to see World War Z. They'd booked me. I'm a zombie guy or whatever. Another game I went in and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to look at it. I remember vaguely last year someone trying to book me a World War Z thing. I remember an announcement of a World War Z game. Whatever. I'm not paying attention. I'll go do this one. Went in there and it's Left 4 Dead in third person. I played it on PC. It was really beautiful. It ran really, really well, and it was a lot of fun. And this is really an interesting timing for it because we had just had on Games Daily a question back and forth over multiple days of, if Left 4 Dead came out now, Left 4 Dead 2 even, would you pay $60 for it? It was a conversation that had come up, right? With everybody arguing about battle passes and add-on content and blah, 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 right? This game is the more modern take on that, I guess. And this is obviously from an hour-long demo where I played PvP and PvE. But it is what I am looking for. It is definitely something that's I'm going to try to get Fran to play with me that's going to pull me away from the division but make me want to play shooters.
Did you see that Turtle Rock is making their own?
Oh yeah. What is it? Bad for Blood?
Yeah.
Or
Yes. Battle for Blood.
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood.
Back for Blood,
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, but that's so far out, right? As all it was is they had a headline. This one's April 16th. This one's coming out, and I was like, oh my gosh! But it is Left 4 Dead in the way that they have right now.
That's right next to Days Gone. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's
a good point,
bad
too.
timing.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Not-
time.
Too many
well,
zombies.
but it's going to be different, right? Because it is that this one's playing co-op with your friends.
Oh no,
whereas
it's going to
Days
be
Gone-
different because Days Gone has freakers.
Of course, remember Days Gone? They aren't zombies. They are just infected humans.
Right.
You know
About
what I mean?
Division episode 1 and like the raids, Greg.
When is that happening?
I don't. We
Yeah,
don't know
come
yet.
on, don't worry. When that
know
happens,
yet.
I'm going back to DC. All right, I go wherever the division tells this agent to go, he goes.
The
Fran.
outskirts is the
Don't
next
you
one.
worry. But no, playing this one, it follows the Left 4 Dead formula of like it sounds like it's going to wink and nod launch with 4 episodes. They've said they've announced 3 wink and a nod. So. Every episode has 3 chapters. Every episode has its own cast of 4 characters. Every episode has you playing through this, and it is you play through it, and it's like Left 4 Dead of get in there and have fun. Let's not get bogged down in classes. And there are class archetypes of like, all right, you're the grenader and I'm just the guns person, blah, blah, blah. But as you play in the PvE part of it, you are leveling up, you're earning XP, you're applying that to upgrades and like perks you want. So you can start with like, okay, at level 7, I've unlocked the ability to start the game with the assault rifle rather than have to worry about finding an assault rifle as you go. On top of that, you are earning some kind of currency or leveling up, I forget now, to put into the guns. So you can make your shotgun better, you can make your assault rifle better. There is a reason to keep coming back there, along with perks and things like that, more grenades. So you run through, and it's Left 4 Dead in terms of, we're shooting a bunch of zombies, we're trying to do a bunch of different things, but then it's pulling I guess the only thing, in my zombie opinion, that makes World War Z stand out in any way, right, was the pyramiding of zombies. Mm-hmm. So it was like we had been running through this thing, we got to a garage, we had to take over a space, so it was like the horde's coming or whatever, we laid down all our defenses, and then this a really impressive amount of zombies starts pouring in, and they do start running up to the walls, and they do start building up. So you had to take out the bases of them and call it out for your friends, and everybody's using these different turrets. And then, later on, it was, all right, cool. This guy's got to work on the van, so 2 of us hang back to protect him. 2 of the other people run off to get the different gas canisters. We have to get 3 canisters before they all get here, blah, blah, blah. It was really cool there. And then the PvP part was PvPVZ. So it was player versus player with zombies all over the place. So we were competing with each other in capture or King of the Hill in domination kind of mode, and it was really fun there. And that has its own leveling up, its own perk system and stuff, obviously, to make it apply there. I came in with no expectations, hadn't heard anything about this game other than the fact that it was being worked on, and I'm very excited for April 16th to get it. I think for sure it'll make a great party mode. I hope that the fidelity that was running on the PCs it will be how it is on console. That'd be my one concern, right? Because it was, man, this is running super smooth, and man, these zombies look all great. But if that looks like crap on PlayStation or whatever, that's gonna be a problem. Says
Sounds
Tim.
exciting.
Tim's not sold.
No,
not
not
his type
sold
of
at all.
game. We know.
Now a break for our sponsors. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. For the topic of the show, I'm just going to call this predicting the next generation of video games. There's a lot of kind of things I want to throw out there. This week, huge announcements. We got Google entering the streaming race, the cloud gaming and all of that stuff going on. We have, you know, Epic Games Store, Steam kind of battling it out, and every day there's some new announcement of an exclusive or this or that. You know, we got the budding relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo, and what could that possibly mean? We got PlayStation out there being quiet. You know what I mean?
They're in their ivory tower.
They're just in their ivory tower.
Throwing money out the windows. They don't care.
Things going on. Then we got, you know, because of this Google Stadia situation, we got an interesting thing brewing with Twitch versus YouTube coming up as well, and what that means for gamers, all that. Just want to throw all that in there. Jason, I feel like you'd be a good place to start with this. What are your thoughts?
Which one of those should I address?
Where do you want to start?
Where do I want to start? Well, predictions. I mean, I predict there will be a new PlayStation and there will be a new Xbox, maybe more than one if the rumors are to be believed. I think it's pretty safe to say, I remember last year, around this time, I remember publishing an article that was like, guys, this is not coming for a while, because there had been some other article on some weird tech website that was like, PS5 might come out in 2018. I was just like, what? But at least, at the very latest, 2019. I think by now it's pretty clear that these consoles are not coming out in 2019. So we will see them next year in some capacity. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they are all reacting to Google. We know Microsoft is doing Xbox X Cloud, which is their own streaming service. It'll be interesting to see if they're all frightened of Google, if they don't know anything, if they're just like, whatever, like we're just going to do our own thing. It's interesting times.
It's a battle in the heavens above the clouds with Microsoft and Google up there fighting for server space. It's exciting. For me, my quick reaction, by the way, was like, I'm just glad that Google's doing it. What about the lag? What about whatever? They are making huge moves with tons of money as one of the biggest companies in the world and entering the space. It's going to be similar, maybe see what Apple does with like challenging Netflix and Amazon Prime stuff, but just the competition period is going to push people forward. And if I was Microsoft right now, I'd be like, okay, well, on the plus side, we can let them get out the door first, and then we'll plan our reaction, you know?
Thank you.
But they're going to have to, who knows? They might have seen something in the presentation like, dang, that is not in development yet, you know? Maybe the instant play
Did you see the Phil Spencer letter or whatever that went up? Yeah, it was a leak from internal. What it was basically like, I think he complimented the integration with YouTube, that he thought that was a that, and what was the other thing? There was something else he complimented the thing.
But
other than that,
he was like, we will be big at E3. That's
yeah, he's like energizing times, right? I feel like honestly, I was talking to people about it at GDC yesterday who had missed it, right? And I know that I've talked a lot about my own passion, how exciting I find the streaming stuff to be, and I thought Microsoft did a better job of their first blush at this with their contained trailer of we're working on this thing and it's test marketing, blah, blah, than Google did yesterday or whatever, this week, coming out with their presentation. Because I thought the presentation seemed to get all the way up to let's make a big announcement and then stopping. And I'm not saying it's not a big announcement, but it is the thing of, hey, we're clarifying a whole bunch of stuff, but not telling you the hard facts.
Well, so the thing to consider is that this is a game developers conference, and right now their big goal, and has been for a long time, is to recruit all these developers onto their platform. They're looking to buy companies, they're looking to invest in companies and fund games that are exclusive to Google Stadia, and obviously Stadia. It's such a terrible name. I keep like already mispronouncing
Stadia.
Google Stevia, and they keep they're looking for big publishers to put their games on their platform as well. So this was more of a pitch. It was kind of a pitch to the world, but it was more of a pitch to like game developers.
I get that, by the way. I do feel it's such a cop-out of like, and by the way, coming from producers, and I'm a producer and think about how to do these events. I'm sorry, it was not a great opening at all to the presentation. It was, I was not a fan of that, meaning I agree that is what happens at GDC. You're 110% right. I think it's a total cop-out that whatever the planning went into, like, we're going to announce a brand new service for gamers. This is for gamers, and game developers are gamers. And so there's a way to come out with excitement also without the fakeness of it, right? We've seen companies make the mistake. So I felt like presentation left much to be desired, but once they finally, it took them, I felt like, forever to be like, and here's what it's really about, right? We're streaming from this, instantly jump in. That should have all happened within the first, like, 3 minutes. And then walk us through your technology and your flops. And
you don't like the Google CEO coming out and be like, I don't play games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I felt like it happened. That is what happens, by the way. Very powerful people that are in the executive chain be like, look, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to do it like this. I feel like it's a mistake.
So what Phil Harrison said, he's the guy in charge of Google Stadia.
Has experience.
He told us, he basically implied to us when we asked, like, how do we know that Google isn't going to abandon this thing?
Where like they abandon
Google Plus and Google Glass and Google Reader and Google Inbox and Google Hangouts and Google Wave, and I could keep going and going. But so his response was basically like, look, the CEO came on board in the first few minutes to show you how serious we are about this.
And then that's how I feel about it, because I'm totally with you. I'm all about the hype, obviously, and I want every press conference to begin and end and have in the middle some big, huge, like, punch.
It shows me you get it.
Like Sony press conferences you have been at E3. But I do think that this is different and it's important. And I'm with you where it's like, I don't give the, it's GDC thing credit, because it's like, that's true. But it's also like, but people are watching at home.
It's you went big. I don't care where you did.
You went big for it. But the thing with that is my barometer is my group of friends that they play games every once in a while but are not gamers. They don't consider themselves gamers at all. They all hit me up about this and are like, they're like, it's just a controller. It plays games. You can play it anywhere. And they're excited about that. Yeah. They don't know what it is, but they're excited. And I think that they're excited because they didn't watch the stream, but they heard that the Google CEO was involved and that this is a real thing and that Google's really putting something behind this. And I think the most important thing is that I agree with you what you're saying earlier. It's like they're coming out here and it's not going to be perfect for everybody in the world. In fact, it's probably not going to be perfect for many people in the world. But this is now ushering in a new world where everyone else is going to have to figure something out so that in 5 years, maybe it will be.
Yeah, when you know, the way I've been putting it simply to people is like, I'm like, show me Apex, show me Fortnite, just let me play it anywhere they want. It's really simple, by the way. They're free games, everybody can play, so just show it to me. And when you're ready with that, that's when we finally made it. But then, obviously, we know we have a long way to go. I saw some hands-on, and then this report about you need ideally 25 megabits per second. It's kind of like Netflix and their 4K streaming. I forget if it's 13 megabits.
And that sounds like ideally for single player games. Like multiplayer games pose all sorts of latency challenges.
And how does the game intend to run? Is it mostly a 30 frames per second game? Because that's probably still going to exist too, or people that choose to do that. So anyway, we've got a long way to go, but I did just want to point out, don't forget and don't be fooled. It's like when you're watching a stream, that is what's happening, that you are sending a signal over the internet, and then you can talk about breaking down barriers. They're encoding video to send back to you of what you just did, which is an incredible challenge. Now, granted, I don't know all the ins and outs, but probably literally what's happening is you're sending your signal, over the internet, and as it's quickly encoding in parallel on the GPU, it's sending you that encoded frame as fast as possible. But dude, it's got to get to you in the speed of light, is the idea, right? So I feel like my point is we got a long way to go. I am super excited, though. I do believe it's the future of gaming. Look what Netflix has done. We talked about this many shows ago now. What's happening? We're finally getting there. And it's just exciting that Google, they're spending, my joke was going to be that Phil knew that they're committed because they paid him for 5 years, probably. But I think they're going to stick with it. And just whatever happens, they are definitely have a tremendous ability to push this technology. And whether it's used for gaming or anything in the world, it's so applicable to what we do. But I am excited. I think there's probably tons more questions asked about the games, everything.
Absolutely. But I think they also did a good job with the games where, they came out and spoke to the us's of the world saying there is a first party studio that we're making, and that implies there's going to be really high quality exclusives, right? But I also think they did a good job of coming out and being like, okay, here's Doom, Assassin's Creed. It's like we didn't need to see a bazillion games. We get the idea. It's, you're not the Switch. Like you're gonna have the third-party titles. They're gonna be there. Well, I get Doom's on the Switch, but you know what I mean. It's like we can expect any major.
You with Assassin's Creed, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna get Call of Duty. We're gonna get like those big games on this, and I think that that's important because I think that this is more for the mainstream than it is necessarily for the hardcore gamers that are gonna have that as their only system. if it's not really a system, but like, I don't think anybody that they're expecting hardcore gamers to commit to this being their only thing. I think it's either going to be a secondary thing for people, or it's for the people that would never consider buying a $400 console in the first place. And this reminds me of the shift to mobile gaming and why so many people are now gamers that were not gamers before, because they have mobile games and all this lag and input stuff. They're not going to be worrying about that. And in fact, I would like to issue the challenge out there to people of like all the latency and all this stuff. Yes, it's an issue, and it's for the people that care about 4K and HDR, it's the biggest issue. But for the people that don't, for the people that probably have never even touched the settings on their TV, they probably don't even know that they currently have 100 millisecond lag when they play games. But that's just how games feel.
They forgot to turn on game mode. What's wrong with you?
That's what I'm saying, though. Most people don't turn on game mode.
It's what we talk about all the time, and you've driven home on the stream and talking about PlayStation VR and everything else. It's good enough. You know what I mean? I think this is you touched on the rumors for Microsoft, right? With what's going to happen with Xbox Scarlet and 2 different SKUs, and one's just streaming. Like, I feel like that's a very interesting and smart choice on their end of, hey, guess what? Here's our new console, and this is if it's all correct. This one just streams. It's this cheap price point. For the first time ever, a whole different wave of people, a different strata of gamer is going to be able to be there on launch day, paying for this cheap system and the excitement of having a new system. However, the people like us that are crazy about all that, there is this much more expensive version that runs everything in 4K natively, and it's a powerhouse, and you can play everything locally. Don't worry about the streaming problem, or don't worry about streaming, period. That's what it is. That's
what I'm most interested about this, the Scarlet idea with Xbox. Is it going to be streaming only, or is it going to be, are you going to be able to download as well?
I think you're going to stick locally to the options. I mean, that's the rumor, right?
The rumor is that they're 2 different SKUs. And one of them is...
But it'll be the same game, right?
The discless one.
Platform SKUs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, but to your... I understand your point. That's interesting. Will the streaming one have enough hard drive on it to download games as well?
Or can you... Yeah, exactly. Or can you at least attach a hard drive to it?
I would say yes. Yes, you'd be able to.
And I think that's the difference, the key difference, and why I think that the Microsoft side is way more exciting in the initial future than Google, because they have this library of games. They have Game Pass. They've been working on backwards compatibility forever. And it's like, they'll be able to out the gate be like, and here's this thing. And if they have the downloading thing, I feel like that's
buy the streaming Xbox 2, we're just gonna call it, right? Buy the streaming Xbox 2 for what? We go back and forth on this all the time. 150,
$70,
100. Like, can they get it down to that? Right?
I feel like it has to
do that. We're bundling in 2 months of Game Pass. You have unlimited games to play on this thing. That you've just like. That'll be such a crazy move for such a huge segment of people that have never been able to afford a next gen console on day one. Oh yeah, it's backwards compatible with everything that's happened on Xbox One before. So you have that giant library. You have Game Pass. You have all these different options to go in there and use it on this one little box.
The Chromecast Ultra is $70. $69, but so, and you need that if you want to play 4K on TV with Stadia, right? So using that kind of as a benchmark, you got to imagine that the Xbox, whatever it is more than that.
I would think so.
Like, because it is not going to be just a dongle.
It's going to be that, and it's going to have a controller, right? Like, that's how you sell a console.
That's a good point. With the controller, it might be $100, probably the.
I mean, if they can launch one at $99.99, that would be insane.
Be brilliant.
Yeah, and I think Xbox, as I've always said it, is building this foundation to get to this moment. And if they can afford to pull that trigger and get that headline of like, all right, guess what? The next generation costs you $99 to get here.
That would be insane. It's definite potential. I mean, that's. Sorry, Tim.
No, I can see them doing that, but without a controller, and it's hard for me to envision them selling it without a controller. $100 is like,
but you don't need any more than a connection to your TV, some hard drive space with some basic, probably onboard processing for the menus or whatever. You don't need a lot. I mean, I would hope that.
You figure controllers are $65, $70 right now? Period,
60
on their own.
I was going to ask that. Is it? Yeah, they still. Yeah, so maybe it'd be closer to like 130.
Yeah,
but whatever the case.
But again, we talk about eating it all the time. Like, I don't.
Here's the deal:
they are hungry, right? They want to fucking make up ground, and they want to make the next generation about them.
Yeah, if all these things have to have a subscription to use them, then of course you can sell the hardware at a loss.
I think that's another interesting point to bring up here. You've kind of got these different SKUs like we're talking about. The one obvious SKU for Xbox is the high-powered, 8K. I'm joking, but 4K HDR, high-powered, high-powered.
Oh, I heard you guys like teraflops, huh?
Yeah, but download it, get super high fidelity. You're getting a PC, quality experience. Maybe you can even run at 120 hertz. I don't really know, but you're gonna get some high quality probably. That's the console. But then you move on to this next SKU that we're talking about. Yeah. Somewhere in that sweet spot of not too expensive comes the controller. Plug it in and get going. And by the way, the Game Pass bundle and stuff, super smart, tons of value. It's it's sort of obvious. You're like, wait, I get all these games and I get all that? Yeah, I'm in. 130 bucks, fine, I'm in. The third SKU, which is sort of kind of where Google has an advantage. I'm wondering how Microsoft solves for this. Didn't they say that if you have Chromecast on your TV, right,
Ultra.
you just buy the controller?
Yeah.
How does Microsoft bridge that gap? Do they use Chromecast? I don't know. Like, in other words, can Microsoft have it? Because we live in a world where TVs now just are bundled with Android.
Apps and stuff, yeah.
Android in particular. They're not bundled with Windows. So that is a SKU that I'm seeing.
That'd be the worst TV.
What?
That'd be the worst.
I have an Android TV?
No, with Windows.
Oh, with Windows. No, yeah, I don't think that's where it's moving. My point is, how do they solve for that?
I think that's what's so fascinating about this race is that they're on two different sides of this field. Where it is, I think Microsoft's going to come out strong. I don't think everything we're predicting is going to happen, but I think they're going to come out and capitalize on all this thing, and they're going to be ready, and they're going to be a gamer's machine, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to give you a compelling reason why they believe in streaming and why you should too. And hey, look at all the games you have and will have going forward. Meanwhile, on the other side, Google's argument is going to be, hey, we don't have that many games, but you can play this on anything. Like, there's no, the browser window, the Chromecast, the thing, you just buy the controller and you're ready to go. Whereas Microsoft is going to be in a different boat of how are they getting whatever, the Scarlet app, is that going to be on Switch? Awesome. Is it going to be, they'll have a PC app for it, sure. But how do you get it to TV? How do you make it easy? And I think it'll be from there, if Google's committed and Google can make it work, then it's going to be this back and forth for a while of who wins out in the end. Because the way Google wins this is the first time.
Spoilers.
Nintendo always win. Nintendo always wins. The way Google wins this is the first time they put out the Jade Raymond's whatever exclusive, here it is, and you go and you buy it, and you're like, oh, that was easy. Oh, and it works. That's awesome. And I get to play it anywhere, and I don't need to worry about it.
The thing is, that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because the last tech company to say, hey, look, we're investing a bunch of money in video games about 4 or 5 years ago was Amazon. How many Amazon Game Studios games have you guys played in the past 5 years? I think these tech companies have bazillions of dollars and a lot of issues because they have so many people, they have so many tentacles, they have so many arms that have to communicate with one another. It can be very, very hard. I mean, it's hard enough for like an experienced game company to make AAA quality games in a reasonable amount of time. There's a lot of barriers there.
100%.
So I am extremely skeptical. I think this Google thing will probably fizzle out, and they will probably shut it down the way they have Google Plus and Google Wave and Google Reader and Google Hangouts. And
do you think that's the bureaucracy of it? Of that they have people they bring in that are passionate and have an idea, but then the the overarchy of what I'm trying to say of Super Google in general, right?
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, like just the idea of making games. Like making games is really, really difficult.
Running studios.
Jade Raymond was running EA Motive, and Jade is great. She's a super talented person. But what has EA Motive made? Like Battlefront 2's campaign, that is it. And since it was founded in 2013, 2014, they've been working on this new IP that, from what I've heard, is still pretty early. So we're talking about something that is extremely difficult even by the most talented, experienced companies. Now Google is trying to recruit a bunch of people and stick them together and make it work, which itself is like, even if you're poaching the most talented people across the industry, that isn't always going to work. In fact, most of the time it's not going to work because these people will butt heads. They will not have the chemistry that is needed to make really good video games. It's going to be like a very, very like Sisyphean uphill battle for that.
That's why it goes back to the conference, because it sets the stage, which is at the end of the day, I appreciate that they put out, the CEO of Google out there to say, look, we're super behind this. But I felt like that's what they're going to have to deal with every day, is that structure until it's Phil at the beginning of that conference, or it's the directors that work at Stadia, all that. I think we've seen Microsoft go through all this. We've seen everybody. But the short of it for me was I'm super excited that it's happening. And again, if they can just get something like, even like a game like Ori, or even just older games that they've licensed, like maybe Cuphead, right? Whatever. And if you can just log out and play that instantaneously and jump it, like I think that's where there's gonna be some really cool stuff happening. But I will say Xbox is still in a really unique, strong position.
Yeah, 100%.
Because this is where we're all wondering about Sony, like we said, in the ivory tower. Microsoft is bringing the same type of thing that Google brings. I mean, they've been doing it longer than Google. They have so many servers. They have Azure, what is it called again?
I say Azure, but I get yelled at all the time.
It's not Azure. It's the other one. Anyway, they know how to run servers. It's literally like a huge backbone, literally, of all their stuff. So they're in a great position. And then the last point I was making back to the SKUs is, if you think about it and what you guys are talking about, it's still interesting because even if you want to play on your TV, you can't plug in your Xbox controller. So you're gonna have to buy something no matter what on your TV. So you're already 60, 70 bucks in. So if Microsoft can do what we're talking about, I mean, right? The decision you're gonna have to make is a studio that has tons of experience, like you're talking about, all these games, buy-in with all developers. They're in a really good spot. So either way, I'm excited about Stadia, like I said, because even if it does, let's say 6 things that are interesting and fizzles out, like you're saying, Jason, they will have pushed the industry.
They move the football down the field.
Pushing it
yeah,
forward,
100%.
And I think that's freaking awesome that they're willing to do that. I mean, it takes time to build this stuff. Xbox didn't get it right.
I think the fact that Google and Microsoft are doing this at the same time is a great thing because it's if it was just one of them, I think it'd be easier to dismiss it. Yeah. And I think now it is enough people are taking notice of it, and it is going to be, it launches, then there's latency and people need to figure it out and blah blah blah, and like it'll be interesting to see them each push each other further to try to do it until Google fizzles out or whatever happens.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Microsoft.
Oh, E3! Planned. I can't wait for. I'm so hyped for their E3 press conference. I can't wait to see what they have.
You know, Stadia announced all this. They're like, yeah, we got that. We got that. We got that. Oh, but Game Pass. Oh, and we have that.
Right.
Will it become that? And then now Stadia has to answer back. So.
I mean, honestly, I feel like that. I think they're getting to a point that they have the ammunition to have like a PlayStation 4 press conference where PlayStation 4 like just beat the shit out of my Xbox One. Remember that with like here's how you share games, and the place was uproarious. I do see them being like, guess what? You need 5 megabits per second, and the way we figured it out to get whatever quality, not 4K.
Yeah.
But God, I fucking hope. I still don't have that faith in them. Like, because I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about the games. And that's the thing is, we always say that. It's like, I feel like they're going to kill it from the tech perspective. And yes, they are going to have. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to have a lot of like fuck you moments at the press conference that are like really cool, and it feels like there's like a fun rivalry going on. But like, where are the exclusives? I don't think that we're gonna get them
from Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're going to go through what we've had to go through with Sony, though. There's a waiting period. I'm like, what is this new franchise? Show me. You have to show me.
I think you're going to get a lot not a lot. I think you're going to get teaser trailers from these first parties of what they're working on and why you should be excited.
So Microsoft's exclusives aren't exclusive because they're all on PC.
Sure.
And then
and now they're going to be on everything.
On Game Pass. if Microsoft puts Game Pass on everything, then it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know why people will want to buy the high-end Microsoft console, because if you're going to invest that much, well, first of all, if you have the means, you would do a PC. But second of all, that Sony's like track record of first-party games is so much stronger than Microsoft's that unless you're already in the camp of like Team Xbox, like Scorpio symbol on your Twitter handle, why would you invest in that? Why would you invest in the Xbox Scarlet?
Just because you want the highest quality, like because for me, as an example, it's like I've switched over entirely for third-party games to Xbox One X because I want the best thing possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
you are that market,
and I am that market.
But if you wanted the best thing possible, you'd buy a PC.
Yeah, but he's not a huge fucking dork. Am I right, Jeff?
But it's like to play on my TV. Like I have a great TV.
You can buy a PC on your TV. It's
Nobody
great.
wants that.
Meaning,
I love PC. I'm the PC guy here. I love it. Meaning, when it crashes, when you have to reinstall your drivers and. Dude, it's simple when you deal with it every day. I'm a PC gamer, but like I know folks like Tim, they don't want to deal with. They're like, "What? You want me to?"
No, don't get me wrong. I'm down for the PC gaming. I have an equal amount of issues on my stupid ass consoles.
I think the number of people like you, I think, is shrinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I think the more tech savvy people get, the more they're like, "Wait a minute, why am I buying an Xbox every 4 or 5 years?"
Because good enough is good enough.
My graphics card on my rig and like playing everything there, and also all the exclusives that are there, and also like using it for all these different.
But if you had to guess inventory of, okay, people who buy PC to hook up their TVs, people who buy consoles to hook up their TVs, and people who are willing to deal with fidelity from a cloud streaming to their TV, where do you think most people would how would you rate those? You know?
Well, nowadays most people are in the console camp,
right?
But I think that's in large part because of the games you can only get on your console, and that's why that's why the PS4 has like outsold the Xbox by ridiculous exponential numbers, because people know that they can't play Spider-Man or God of War or last year's consensus game of the year on the Xbox or on the PC or on anything else. It just makes no sense to me. The strategy that Microsoft is doing of like, all props to Phil Spencer for wanting to put his stuff on everything, but that to me kills the idea of like, I would never want a high-end Xbox. Like I would just play on my PC and then get a PlayStation, because
that is what I'm doing right now.
Exactly. So, that's what I think a lot of people who care about high-end graphics and frame rate especially are doing.
It's different when it's a console launch though, but I am 100% in agreement with you. And I think, to keep it simple, it goes back to what Tim said. It is still about the games, man. I mean, you Switch, Breath of the Wild, Mario, like, plus everything that's come after has been incredible. I would have never guessed that it would be what it is today, you know, when I heard they were going to release something like that. Like, the games, you have to play those games. And certainly with PlayStation, we saw that. It just completely eclipsed everything with the quality of the games. And Stadia has nothing like that on the docket yet. We'll see. And that takes, sometimes we're talking about 5 years. Like, when did they start this? Last year? Like, right, it talked to Cory Barlog about how hard it was to develop God of War. Like, it doesn't just, his whole career built to that.
You talk to a competent developer, they'll tell you it's
Greg and I talked about this a bit on some show recently, but I think that in the same way I just said, like, I play third-party games on Xbox because I want the best experience, whatever the hell. It's like, I feel like there's certain games I play on Switch over other things because the portability is what matters to me. And I think that the Stadia gives us another option where it's like, there are going to be games and experiences, specifically third-party titles, that I'm like, I don't need the highest end thing. I'm willing to give that up because I'll be able to play it anywhere. And I think the most exciting thing about Stadia is that we don't know this yet, but it might not be that big of an investment up front. So it's like, I can just dabble for the games that I want, and I don't need to invest in a system.
Yeah. No,
and $60 to $80 for the controller is a safe bet.
And I think that's exciting. But the point...
If you don't need the controller, if you can use another controller, you know.
But you can on your TV.
I'm saying that's for the controller. $60 to $80 for the Stadia controller. I think is a safe bet.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but if you can use another controller, it's not that one.
But you have to on the TV.
Yeah, you have to.
But on the PC, you don't need it.
No, on PC, exactly. PC. Which is... hook a PC up.
Right. Yeah.
Do yourself. Good idea.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, if you're a gamer who can only afford to pay $400 for a console, and there are a lot of people out there, you can spend $400 on a mid-level rig, even buy it at the store if you don't feel like building it, and then you can do Google Stadia on that.
Did they say you could download the games though?
No, you have to stream them. No, they said you cannot.
You have to.
Phil Harrison told me you cannot download Stadia games.
Oh,
you
have to stream offer
them.
it.
No, it's not an option.
Like PC.
You have to stream them.
Small niche.
Yes, you have to stream them.
Well, what I wanted to point out when I was building here is 100% is about the game. So I think it's easy to get sidetracked about new tech and instantly jump in a game. But let's face it, like, I usually start at the beginning of the game. Like, that's really cool and all, but we'll see what we can do. But
unless you get really stuck on Bloodborne.
I can
jump
beat
in
this
with
boss.
Jump in. Yeah, jump into the middle of Celeste and see how that works for you. But what I wanted to go back to is what I said earlier. It is easy to visualize this concept of playing 4K or 1080p 60. Guess what? It's a encoded video signal. First of all, there's lag, but second of all, there's the fidelity. And that's where I will side with Tim, is not to underestimate how much we do love awesome visuals. And when that stuff starts coming through with any encoding issues, this is like, what is it? Is it X264? Is it H265? It's not your GPU anymore. It's a video. You're watching YouTube when you're playing games from now on at 25 megabits a second. That's the difference.
And most people are going to be okay with that.
And a ton of people will. And so the last caveat I'd throw out is, yes, imagine, we talk about when Switch launched, 2 million out the gate, or what, you're like, wow. And then look at what Apex did. Within like a few weeks, 50 million people. That's the potential that these platforms have. And you're right. Maybe the 2 million people like us really care about the fidelity. What about the other 48 million people? But I think like, you know what? I'm fine with it.
I think those people downloaded Apex for free and can't download Stadia for free unless they have a certain specific setup.
That's a good point.
I think for me, even being one of the 2 million whatever that cares about that stuff, it hits a certain point when it's ease of use where I stop caring. Yeah. When I want to watch a movie, I buy the 4K Blu-ray from Amazon and I wait to get it because I want that experience. Yeah. Like when I want to watch Infinity War again, I want that. I want it to be the best it can possibly be. When I'm just watching some other stuff, like let's say Mission Impossible, right? Like we were doing in review, I don't need to buy the 4K Blu-ray of that. I'm okay watching it in 4K or whatever digitally where I know there's going to be compression and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's the ease of use of just clicking and getting it. I feel like once that is true for video games to people, it's like there's going to be such a huge market of people where good enough's good enough. And hey, better than good enough is great. They don't need the best. They just need something that works and is instant.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with that. That's what I'm saying. The market potential for this is monstrous. I mean, people have been chasing it for over a decade, right? OnLive tried to do it. Gaikai, which turned into what?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Just a laundry list of just like, really good moves.
The bodies are everywhere.
But we're finally getting to the start of it, which is just so exciting. And really, despite the criticism and skepticism, props to Google for coming out with this. And like, again, like maybe it's October this year and we're probably not gonna be playing Xbox. We might be playing a game on Stadia, just the controller. That's like some amazing experience. Hop right in, which they'll be the first out the gate. It's
and
exciting.
then 2 years later, you're gonna get an email and it'll be like, Google Stadia, remember to back up your data because it's closing on March 31st.
Man, Schreier's really skeptical about this one.
I get the skepticism for sure, but I also do think that I think it's going to be different than a Google Play.
It's because of Google's track record.
Plus,
I agree.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Xbox has proven that they will stick with this.
I mean, think back to when they announced YouTube Gaming. And we were like, "Fuck, Twitch is in trouble." Oh my God, Twitch isn't really doing anything. And like, just didn't matter. Yeah. I was like, "Oh wow, okay."
So the other part of this, there are a few other parts of this equation that I find interesting. One is, speaking of YouTube, the fact that these guys have done such a terrible job moderating YouTube as a platform to the point where like parents can't put their kids on it because they'll be like shown
YouTube
some
Kids,
neo-Nazi stuff or conspiracy theory stuff. Is terrifying for the thought of like this also being for kids like browsing YouTube. And do we have any sign at all that they'll care about moderating that community, the Stadia community? The other thing that always comes to mind is the fact that a lot of people care about ownership, digital ownership. And it's one thing, I think a lot of people have accepted the idea that like, okay, I'm gonna buy this Switch game on the eShop, download it to my system, it'll exist. Maybe if I lose the hard drive, I might not be able to download it again. I don't know, but that's been accepted. Are people really going to accept I'm going to spend however much on this thing, whether it's a la carte or a subscription, and never own any of it? And if Google decides like, oh, not enough people are playing Jack and Daxter or whatever, that's not a good idea. Not enough people are playing Tomb Raider, the original 2014-13 Tomb Raider. We are just going to pull the plug on those servers. So we do not want to support that one anymore. Like, what do you do? And so there are a ton of reasons to be skeptical.
Most people will, though. And I
Stadia.
think Netflix is an example of that. Spotify
But Netflix is so much different because Netflix, you're not investing in a game for like that you want to be able to replay, that you're like spending $60 on, that you want to. And I'm envisioning a situation where Google charges a la carte because I think they're going to do at least some of that, because otherwise the likes of Bethesda and Ubisoft would not put their games on launch on this platform if they weren't getting enough money. By the way, that's another thing that I've heard is concern about how developers will be paid by this.
Maybe Google eats the cost though. Epic's doing it right now.
I don't know if they would do that. I mean, I have a feeling that you'll have to buy at least some games, and that'll make a big difference. And also, like Netflix, I mean, you watch a movie at night and then you like turn off your thing, and then like you don't have to worry about owning it. And if you really want to rewatch something over and over again and have it permanent, you buy the DVD or whatever. But with games, it's a different beast. Like sometimes you want to go open up your PlayStation 4 or whatever and be like, oh, I bought Bloodborne a few years ago but never really got into it. I should go check that out. And if Google's service is like a rotating thing, or if it's like there are all sorts of potential.
It's vaulted, who knows?
So
it's on Google Wave.
This
I
is
feel
just
like the more
this is just
similar
the tip of the iceberg for reasons to be skeptical.
That's a really good point.
This.
I didn't think about that. Sure, there might be some subscription, but you're right that Xbox went through it too. It's like, wait, am I gonna own it or not?
Right.
And gamers do really care.
Well, I mean,
about that concept.
even taking away the ownership or that thing, right? Like, it's just think about the backlash we continue to see about always online, right? That is the thing, and like people flip out about that. That was one of the reasons they hated the Epic Store so much at launch. One of the reasons they revolted against Xbox One originally, like the idea of you get this streaming thing, and I paid $60 for this play that I can play anywhere, but I can't play it on a plane, or if I don't have this connection, or if I don't have that. Like, is whatever Xbox's streaming service, like if it plays in if it is Game Pass, like, am I able then to download stuff and have it and do whatever? And
it's funny that like I got it, but it just resonated too. Wait, I can't freaking play these games on the plane?
Yeah.
Why not? That doesn't make any sense. You've got to fix that. Come on.
Well, how are they going to fix it, though, Fred? How are they going to put it on your phone?
Offer a downloadable solution.
But you can't.
Never going to happen.
Download it to a phone.
The Google has made it.
There's no GPU there.
Google, so
there is on your phone.
Not a good enough one to play.
How many teraflops do you got on that phone? Fuck off.
Do you remember all the rumors that like Google was making a high-end console, all that shit? They are none of that was ever true. They are interested in making this platform. Yeah. It's a streaming platform. That's the end of it.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is if you were to probably dissect what are Google's ultimate goals, because making games is not. There you go. How are they going to do it? Maybe ads, probably, and then getting you to sign up for, I assume, Gmail account. And through those two things.
Well, already you have YouTube attached to it.
And YouTube, yeah.
But I passed a booth. So at GDC, there's a whole Google setup, and they have these little monitors that are showing like different slogans that are catered to developers. So it's like, here's the cool feature you can get. Here's the other thing we're doing. Blah blah blah. One of them is like monetizing your game on Google Stadia.
Did they talk about it?
Man, what a bad name. No, it didn't get into details. It's like it just says like we will have ad options available, and it's like hinting at that fact, which we know is always going to be the case. And then also, like, does anyone trust Google to like be responsible with their personal data at this point? I mean, that's like a lesser concern, but it's still a concern for a lot of people, especially after what's been happening with Facebook over the years, the number of controversies. So, yes, as you can tell, I'm skeptical of this.
Very good points. Still exciting that they're doing it.
It is.
And you can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it.
They got some smart people on board, too, like you said.
The newness of it all is exciting.
At the ultimate, that's where I come at this, is like, it's R&D at a minimum, and it's awesome that it's happening. I'm excited.
It's happening now?
Yeah.
This year, 2019. It's
exactly.
Like, it'll all be out there, at least
no more waiting.
Happening, and we'll be able to play it.
Yeah.
So.
Whether it's a handful of stuff or not. So I'm just super excited on that front, and wait and see.
A couple random questions for you guys. Reggie. You had jokingly brought up when he said that he was leaving Nintendo that you think he might be going to Google. You still think that that's a possibility?
No, that was just
really
a joke.
Retired.
That was just a joke.
He really retired,
I think he's really retired.
He's literally
how long he'll stay retired, who knows?
I think he's okay. I think he's financially he's doing okay. He doesn't need to take that Google money.
But he's sick of seeing these Bowser headlines, you know? He wants to shake things up.
See how Doug Bowser does.
And then just the Microsoft Nintendo side of things, like Schreier, where do you see this going in the immediate future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't confirm or deny the Xbox Game Pass on Switch rumors. I just don't know enough other than...
Sound like you do.
Yeah, I mean, I heard from one person who might know that it wasn't happening, so I don't know. That doesn't mean, like, just because someone says something isn't happening, they might not know, and there are a lot of moving pieces here, right? If that happened, that would be incredibly cool. That would have to be streaming on the Switch, which would be really, really interesting, and streaming on the Switch through Xbox Game Pass is a lot more compelling to me than anything Google is doing.
Yeah.
What do you think? So now with Cuphead here, what do you think that means for the likes of Ori?
I think that's clear. Well, they announced Ori is definitely coming to the Switch. That's not even a question. They already did Hellblade, Cuphead. I'm sure we'll see more. Maybe not Halo Infinite, but I'm sure we'll see more stuff.
Do you think we'll see Ori 2 day and date?
I don't know. No idea.
What about Master Chief Collection?
Doubt it.
Yeah, me too.
I can't imagine that happening. But I don't know. No info here.
What about a GoldenEye remake?
Yes. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah, too many licenses involved.
Yeah, they don't have
the problem. Yeah.
Didn't they announce a Battletoads remake and then we never saw it at all?
They're working hard on it. They're working hard on it.
Yeah, well, so that could totally come to Switch. It'll be like, hey, remember it was on Nintendo, so it's on your favorite platform.
And then Rare Replay.
Rare Replay would be great.
The problem with it, though, is a lot of that was Xbox 360 backwards compatibility stuff, so I don't think that would work.
Streaming.
So, yeah.
It'd have to be streaming.
So, or I like piecemeal, where it wouldn't be the whole thing, but you can download.
That would be very Nintendo.
Wait, you're
Perfect
saying
Dark or Banjo or whatever on Switch.
Just so I understand, too, the concept here. You're talking about streaming over Game Pass.
No, I'm talking about games
just
coming to
downloading.
Switch.
Okay, yeah.
Similar to Cuphead, you're talking about a native Switch
buy them on
version.
Switch.
That's right. Not any of this working.
Yeah, I think what'll happen is Banjo-Kazooie will be announced for Smash Brothers, and then attached to that, it'll be like, hey, and maybe we're putting Banjo-Kazooie on the Switch. I think that would make sense. That would make logical sense.
Good job, Frank.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
You know what else makes logical sense? Persona 5 on Switch. Let's go, boys.
Yeah,
let's go. Let's go.
Know it's happening.
Come on, Jason. Let it happen.
I don't know about that.
Can neither confirm nor deny. He does his own PR. I love it.
I'm skeptical.
Well, you understand that Jason is an adult. If he says something may or may not happen, it's not like when we're just fucking spaghetti at the wall talking about our hopes and dreams.
Well, that one, I mean, I would lean, if you ask me, like, which way are you leaning? I can't say with 100% certainty, but based on the things that I've heard, I would lean towards no. At least right now.
Man.
It's always hard to say no to something because so much can change. But at least right now, like the remake they announced in Japan, I would guess, educated guess, I would say that it's PS4 only.
Yeah, dude, it's also tough when you have a job like yours where you're reporting all this stuff. Is that you don't want to be wrong with stuff? It's like people give you crap then against your rumor reporting, and it's like,
well, that's why I'm always very transparent about whether I know something for sure. You wait until you know
exactly, because anytime you speculate, it suddenly adds this credibility problem. I mean, I get it. Been there.
It was funny on last year's show. Actually, I think the rumor had just come out that Modern Warfare Remastered 2 wouldn't have a single player campaign, and I think I said on the show, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And then I got a little bit of flack because that never actually came out. But now it's very clearly coming out for this fall, so that'll be interesting to see.
You'll get your comeuppance. Yeah, I was right.
Yeah, I could see them doing like a remaster package with the new Call of Duty. 3 guesses what that is, right?
Jason, where could people find you?
Kotaku Split Screen. That's my podcast. You should check it out. We got a lot of cool stuff this week. A lot of interviews. We got Phil Harrison. We got Tim Schafer. We got a lot of cool devs that you might not have heard of, but who have many interesting things to say. And I strongly recommend you go and check that out if you like podcasts.
Fantastic.
And you do.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way you made it this deep in.
Exactly.
I hate podcasts.
Unless you were skipping ahead to see what I would plug.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm just going to go to my bed and fall asleep forever because I am dead. For those of you who tuned in late, I have food poisoning that's really bad right now, which is like, it's...
Thank you for toughing us.
I can't believe he's in this good a shape.
Yeah, well... we'll see how it goes. We'll see if I make it.
It's like, well.
Whoa. Well, the lift home might be a disaster. We'll see how it goes.
No,
I'll be fine.
All right. Well, now we're going to get to the post show. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here. And for those of you that are not Patreon supporters, we'll see you tomorrow. Twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, 10 a.m. Bye.
If you need to bounce, feel free.
Yeah.
You've done your due diligence.
I'm going to go lie down.
That's fine.
Okay. Have fun.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
What's up, chatty chat?
As usual, I really appreciate it.
Go for it, dude.
Well, Jason Schreier just
man.
died on camera.
See you, man. Thank you so
for
much.
everything. Safe travels. Frank, can you fill my water, too?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Want to rate your water?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Right off
This key lime?
Is it good? I'll try a key lime if you want to bring me a key lime.
Like sweet and creamy?
I like a key lime.
Dude, it's really good.
Who doesn't like a key lime?
Otherwise, ice, no ice.
Ignacio Rojas says GoldenEye was already remade. That's an interesting thing because they did make a new GoldenEye in like 2010.
For Wii, right? Or was it everywhere?
I think it was everywhere, and then later came to Wii. Like a different version of it came to Wii.
Okay.
It might have been the opposite. It might have been Wii and then came everywhere. But
I come everywhere all the time.
Yeah, but that was a not great game. And from what I remember, that wasn't actually like a remake. It was just kind of like a new game.
Yeah, I know you want to do like the whole like, hey, here are the HD visuals, and then you turn them off, and it goes back to the N64 visuals. And
pretty much, or not even having to do the back and forth, but just like modernize it in the way that they did Perfect Dark on the 360 for XBLA a long time ago.
Okay.
And rumors are, if I remember correctly, is like that happened. Like GoldenEye is made and done. It was just there was some licensing thing that got in the way, and last minute they couldn't publish the game that exists.
That sucks.
So I don't know. Maybe this will change everything. Cuphead's on Switch. Anything can happen, Greg. Anything can happen. Just gotta believe. Mr. Yasmin says it was originally Wii, then ported out on other consoles.
Called it. Thanks, Mr. Yasmin.
GoldenEye Reloaded. DJ Kendall says they made it Daniel Craig for the movies. Yeah, they did. That was an issue.
Havoc Maker. Greg, talk about your experience Beat Saber on Oculus Quest. I did. That was the show. We talked about that. Oh, there it is. I'm getting that key lime. Yep. I'm getting that key lime goodness.
Baby.
It's creamy, you say?
Gross.
I feel like it's got that like, that little.
It's key lime touch.
It's gross. It's like the water.
I like it.
Stephen James Austin says,
oh,
great.
there it is on the back of the palette.
Right? A buttery
You ever get a
mouthful.
Tetris 99 win?
Me?
Yeah.
No. But I haven't played it forever. Tetris 99 was a great filler, and then I went to Washington D.C. I had him out there.
Dead game.
Out in the
Division
mud.
2's out. What are you gonna do?
Dead game.
Honestly, everybody should have just taken a break, and I'm surprised they didn't cancel GDC. You know what I mean? Like, come the fuck on. I gotta walk around San Francisco, talk to these clowns all the time. Let me fucking go home.
Oh man, yeah. Greg, are you still busy all week with GDC? You're gonna grind out more Division 2?
I am so happy to tell you, friend,
I keep looking
that as soon
online.
as we end this shit, I'm going home
Rushing.
and playing all night long.
That's-
One, Austin Creed coming over to play with me.
Oh, yes.
One, Scott Lowe coming over to play with us.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were having a little LAN party at our
There
house.
you
over
go.
there. Yeah.
Wait, are you playing on 3 different consoles?
Oh
at
yeah!
home?
Oh yeah! We
Scott's
are.
oh, they got to get their fill while they're
yeah,
traveling.
Yeah, totally. We're all
this.
wayward Asians trying to go out there.
I love this.
Yeah, I'm level 29 right now.
I mean, dude,
Right
you,
there. It's like,
yeah, but you are basically 30. Like, as soon as you do the next thing, I know you're on that 3rd stronghold.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Wait till you see it.
I'm probably gonna do side missions because I don't want to try to drag them with me. I mean, Scott's 21. I think Xavier's the like.
Yeah, if you
5.
don't, because if you don't want to get pushed forward, you don't do the stronghold. In other words, if you do the stronghold, you get pushed into the world tier 1.
Well, then I
and
could
they
join
can
their
still play
game.
with you, but you're gonna be. There's not as much. Well, you could still do side missions, I guess. It'd still be fine.
I don't care.
It'll be fine. Actually, you could still do it, but whatever the case, dude.
He's lying.
I can't wait for you to see it.
Where, you know?
Jose Sharks.
I didn't abandon. I've been working. I see you out there.
Sharks?
I see you out
Fran
there.
Jose
Oh, you didn't know this?
Sharks.
We call ourselves the Fran
I love
Fran
it.
Jose
Except,
Sharks.
I thought
We
you
all
were
wear
like,
this
I
teal
hate it.
shirt that looks like a San Jose Shark.
I love it.
Yep.
Greg came up with it.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you, Barrett. 28 is what I saw last night on Twitter.
Yeah, 28.
Look at that.
right there, too.
Here we go,
So,
boys.
Yeah, still just need to do the 3 strongholds. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Yeah, they really were super impressive. I've been playing a ton, and just what happens is, well, when you play this fast, plus I'm trying to do the review and capture footage, like you're just trying to get to this like end game, which is gear level 450, world tier 4, and you have to play a lot of strongholds and stuff like that to get there, and play with people of like kind.
Question from the
level.
Peanut Gallery. What is gear level and stuff? We see all these people hitting
Yeah.
the level cap.
Sure.
What,
So
what does this mean?
No spoilers. So basically, you do hit level 30 and 31, but as soon as you hit level 30, it becomes about your gear score, which depending on what you have sitting around, you have stuff that has gear score 100, whatever, and suddenly you have a gear score of like 150. That
Gotcha.
has caps in the tiers you're in. So I believe the first world tier, you can get gear up to 250 or something. So what happens is you effectively want to get out of that world tier by the time you're approaching that gear score.
Gotcha.
What you're gunning for is in world tier 4 is 460-ish or something.
You're aware what tier are you in right now?
I'm 425.
So
or
you're in
something
world
like
tier
that.
4?
World tier 4. I just
Gotcha.
got there.
And that's the highest? That's the highest?
Yes. So I'm finally in the world tier where.
Sounds like you're having a great time.
But really what's happening is you're deleting so much as you grind up, and that's fine. It's a natural part of the experience, but I'm more of the end gamer that I just want to get max level gear and start getting the good stuff. So when I get a rifle, you know, with 300% whatever headshot, I know, oh, this is the roll. Then tier 5 is going to come out, and you got to go through it all over again. But
Damn
anyway,
tier 5.
just the
That's
strongholds
damn tier
are cool,
fives,
man.
dude.
But
I'm dying. I can't wait to get back.
it's
for
fun.
hour.
I've loved it.
Yeah.
We trying to do some strongholds this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it, boy.
Yeah, honestly, I just need, once you guys are in the tiers and I'm at max level, then I don't have to worry as much anymore.
Yeah.
Although when you go back to other people's worlds,
not gonna
tiers. So
get
if I'm
stuff,
tier 4,
yeah.
I go to tier 1, I'm only going to get drops that are like
yeah.
at your level. And I'm like, well, whatever. It was fun though.
Keylock says, anyone checking out the movie Us this weekend? A bunch of us about to
Seeing
watch it tonight.
I'm
I
dreading
really
it.
wanted to see
That's-
that.
I'm seeing Saturday.
I
Can't
heard
wait.
it's scary.
Are you? Nice.
I
really want to see that.
Oh, God.
Joey, I am.
Heard some mixed reactions about it, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I've
Don't
heard
listen.
Joey Washburn says, friend, you streaming tonight?
That's the plan, but there
Don't
might
pretend
be
like you're
some
not.
drinks with GDC folks happening, so I'm
Okay.
trying to. I really need to both capture and stream, but I've not taken a night off in like 10 days, so whatever. It's part of the game, man.
It is,
You gotta
man.
grind.
You got to get out there. You
Gotta
got
love
to grind it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go grind and watch Us. Some of us do both of those things.
Grind on.
There we go. There we go. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.